VOD is back, and so am I, for day 3 of streaming. Apparently, the music was sounding distorted earlier from a regular caller, a Mr. Arcane Moose. Yeah, I haven't heard of this guy before, but I always fear a moose. I wouldn't want to be in a fight with a moose, so you gotta watch out for that. But yeah, I don't know. If anyone else in the chat was here for starting soon, let me know if it sounded distorted. I had to re-import the song because I went through my downloads folder and deleted everything to make room for a Steam game. And I didn't realize my starting soon music was in my downloads folder. I never moved it somewhere safe. So I had to go share it from another computer, re-download it, put it on. I listened to the audio file. It sounded fine. Maybe the problem was having OBS open when I was setting the audio file, and I have to like restart OBS for it to not sound like crap. I will see what the VOD looks like. I don't know what happened, but I think I had the pieces right. I also got the bot to come back. We've been going for a couple weeks without the bot in the chat because we had these commands, bang theme and bang font. Bang that theme, bang that font. And I don't know what happened. I just had it leave my Twitch account and rejoin it. It's working right now. It's not working. I just did it. Look in the chat log. I can do it. Maybe font doesn't work. Let's find out. Font doesn't work, but theme does. Interesting. Am I right about that? I think so, because StreamOn was definitely responded to that one. And maybe now it's not responded. It's okay. See, I don't own Stream Elements. I didn't build this. So maybe we're spamming it too much? I have no idea. Maybe it's on a timer. I'm staring at the commands right now. Font and theme are in there. Why would theme work and font not work? I have no idea, and I really don't care that much. I really don't know why. There's a user cooldown. There we go. It's a cooldown. That's totally what it is. I could probably lessen the cooldown, but also the point is to not have that. Oh, and there's a global cooldown. So maybe it was getting hit by the global cooldown. We never asked it for a font, though. So that's a little surprising that the first font didn't work. Meh. I don't know why I have a global cooldown. Oh, I have it on both. It's just the table has the text overlapping, so I can't tell. Oh, CSS is hard. Oh, man. Okay. Well, let me get some music started, and we can jump into some code, as we love to do around here. This is going to be probably a very empty stream, because we got the two biggest tech people, Pirate Software and the Primogen, and also Tej. I mean, that's a three-banger right there. And we just don't... It's hard to compete with that. So we might not pull that many viewers. I'm also probably not going to tweet about it. But whatever. I'm here. I want to build something. I'm not going to be lazy and go watch the Primogen and code on my lonesome. I'm going to code in front of people. And I also took one sip of cold brew, and I'm exploding right now. So we got to use this energy for something. It was probably a mistake. But every time I take a sip of cold brew, I'm like, it tastes so good. This is going to be great. And then I'm like, oh, God. This was a bad idea. This is like a really bad idea. So, whatever. We'll see how things go. I'm pulling up some music right now. What should I listen to? I'm not sure. I'll probably listen to... None of those sound good. This one sounds good? Maybe. Y'all can't see what I'm looking at, obviously. Brr. I want something that's pretty hype. So we'll do this one. Yep. All right, we'll lower that volume a little bit. Raise it up a little bit. That'll do. And now we're in. Now we are in. I'm going to move my Spotify to another window. I'm going to close that warning. I'm going to check all my windows. We got the right apps open right now. For whatever reason, my VS Code is on desktop 2. I didn't even open desktop 2, so that doesn't make any sense, but whatever. And I think now we're ready to go. I think we're ready to go. Once again, every time I open my browser, this is what I have to look at. Okay, the music is way too loud, way too loud, way too loud. There we go. Better. That should do. So this is an article that I mentioned a while back, but I'll mention it again just because it's so good. If you've ever wondered how JavaScript frameworks work and you appreciate hand-drawn MS Paint banners This is a good article. It talks about templates, talks about proxies, talks about how you would build anything that's not React, because React is weird as heck, but everyone else is normal. It talks about state management, templating, a bunch of other stuff. If you've ever been curious, how does Vue work, how does Svelte work, how does Solid work, how do any of these things work, this is the article for you. And I'm in the 1% that actually cares about this sort of thing, so, you know, whatever. If you're watching this stream, you probably are too. What's wrong with React? You know what's wrong with React. I shouldn't have to talk about React. We know what's wrong with React. We know what's wrong with React. Do I actually have to answer that? I guess I should answer it. Meh. React re-renders things very aggressively from the top of a component. So anytime you modify state in a component, it'll re-render everything inside of it, which means if you have any line of code in there, it will rerun unless you explicitly opt out of that behavior. And in other frameworks, it is not state at the component level. State is defined right where it's actually used in the DOM. So if you had a counter component, a classic, if you bound like a count state variable with the number of just a number, if you did that in like Solid or Vue or Svelte or any of those, you would bind up the state to whatever paragraph tag needs to render out the count and to whatever button needs to update the count. And whenever you click the button, it'll update that variable, and it'll only re-render the paragraph that cares about it. In React, it's not just going to re-render the paragraph. It's going to re-render anything in that component, including any subtext or things that aren't related to count. It's going to do it with virtual DOM, and it's going to diff it so it doesn't actually update the page. It's just like updating in memory and then figuring out what should redraw on the page or re-render. But it's still wasteful to do all that memory calculation when you could just track the elements that care about some state. So the reason React does that, it wants to be decoupled from the browser, so they don't want to dig into browser stuff in order to make that possible. It's my loose understanding. But in other frameworks, they don't care, and so they do the most efficient thing that they can do. TLDR, every framework that isn't React has kind of adopted the same model for updating state. I think it's push versus pull, and I don't really know the difference. I just know that React is a push-based model, and the other ones are pull. Is that the difference? I don't know. But it is a different way of thinking about state. And now all the other frameworks have mostly aligned, which is kind of cool. Hi from Russia. What's up, Refresh? Welcome in. I didn't know Vue, Angular, etc. didn't do that. Yeah, so Vue does it, but Vue is weird. Vue has like 3 different ways that you can use it. There's honestly more than that. Vue tries to support pretty much everything from their legacy code and modern features. So Vue does a lot of things. Angular is in the same boat. The new model is what I just described. The old model is more like React. And then everything else, Svelte, Solid, pretty much those two. They use the efficient DOM update model. And React, just on principle, is never going to do it as long as the creators of React still have sway over the project. That's my understanding. Because I've seen Dan Abramov on the Twitters talking about how they design stuff. And yeah, they're not changing. They like the consistency of a React component. Every time you render it, you know what it's going to give you. Because state and UI are one. But in other frameworks, state and UI are kind of decoupled. Like state isn't at the component level. So you could have state that's like hoisted outside of a component. Now you have a closure. It's hard to test it, blah, blah, blah. But I never test front-end facing code except for an end-to-end test, so I don't care about React being consistent. And I also haven't run into the pitfalls that the React team talks about. I couldn't even tell them to you because I don't run into them. So, I don't know. I think that they're really after some mental model that just doesn't matter on the front end. So it falls on deaf ears for me. The only reason I'd use React is because everyone uses it, and there's a bajillion React libraries out there to help you do things. That is the only reason. And that's true for a lot of people, probably, if they knew how things worked. Anyways, look at this computer. Do you, Ben? I Ben, do you? We built this on the last stream, and I also built it a little bit before the stream. We designed it up in Figma. It's a big SVG, and what I wanted to do was mimic a UI that's on my current website, and I'm going to kind of update it. So this is the old UI, right? The original Macintosh. It's sitting here, it looks cute, and we have videos playing inside of this little CRT screen. And you can see the little scan line going down, nice touch. But also you can hit another random project, and it'll like, you see how it does a little skew and then it changes it? Like you're kind of bumping the computer. You know, that was a fun little touch. I'm not going to do all of this, but I wanted to take the spirit of it to be a video player. Overlord of Tech, you know about this. You know what's going on here. I'm not going to have this on my new website, but you know what is going on here. You know what's going on. Yeah, we're going to reuse this element, not for talking about college projects, as proud as I am of them. I'm going to use it to showcase my videos and my conference talks and whatever other media I have. And I'm going to play it inside of this new computer. And I want to do a different sort of animation. So we have a similar setup to the old one. Bog, baby! Robotic Nation. You know about Bog? Robotic Nation, are you a Georgia Tech alum or student? Go Yellow Jackets? Are you? Very curious. Very curious. I want to know. Oh man, Peloton careers page. How far we've come. Yeah, there's a bunch of old projects in here. This took me months and months of work building a Chrome extension that like I didn't even place in the hackathon, and it took me forever. And I never talked about it again, except for like one interview for a job I didn't want. It's crazy how devoted you can get to a personal project and how much it can just peter out when you're done. I feel like I learned something about myself, like spiritually, building this thing. It's like, I really don't care about the result of what I build. I just care about solving a puzzle, and when it's done, I don't care who sees it. I just care that I built it. So this is a good example of that. No one used this. No one should use this. But I learned a metric ton about HTML and DOM manipulation from this. So I call it a success. Again, I'm not going to showcase it. Also, this video game I built in C. This was for a college class. Not only do I not know how to run this code, I don't even know where it is. It's on an old GitHub account that may have been shut down as soon as I lost my college email. So I couldn't even go download this to try to run it. And I knew it was a virtual machine and all this other stuff, so the only proof I have that I built a Game Boy game in C is this GIF. This GIF is the only proof I have that I built a video game. So I can't lose that. I can't lose that. And now we're back to Outlink. Yeah. So I wanted to use this to showcase my videos instead of college projects. I might have some sort of Easter egg. Some sort of Easter egg that lets you look at the college projects instead. Literally no one would ever care or know about it. But I'm like, you know, I want to do a nod to this because I'm pretty proud of the fact that I have the GIFs at all. I feel like I just need to put them somewhere. I don't want these to die with the old website. Yeah. Robotic Nation, you're in Bog. Let's go. 2110. Yeah, you know. You know. Are they still building Game Boy games in C? I hope so. Because that was the only project that I enjoyed in that class. I'll be honest. It was a lot of heartache, circuit sim, quizzes where you get 60s no matter how hard you try. It was a mess. But the final project gave me fond memories of the class because it was a fun time. And I went way too hard on it, but it worked out, you know? And I also, I liked how I built this. This is the first time that I built the physics in the game before I had any graphics. For the first 2 weeks of building this thing, off and on, whenever I had time, these were just 2 red rectangles and 1 yellow rectangle. And that was the whole game. I worked on it until I can figure out, you can see like the ball has a pop shot here, and then this one has a bigger arc, all of that stuff. I worked on all the physics for that. I got the scoreboard, I got the game working, and then the last day before it was due, I went in a pixel art generator and added graphics. It was a risky maneuver doing that, because imagine turning in 2 red rectangles in a square. I mean, yeesh. But it was a good exercise in patience. Usually I would get the graphics looking perfect and then I realize, oh crap, I don't have a game. Or maybe, oh, I can't even get physics working. I need to change this tennis game to like a shuffleboard game where you hit the thing back and forth. I don't know, something. So I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. But that, yeah, Malik was rough. Dude, don't get me started on Malik. Get that Mal out of here. I was trying to come up with a pun on Malik. Malik feels like a really punnable word, but I just couldn't stick the landing. You hate to see it. But yeah, Malik was rough. At some point, that class will teach you Rust. Like 5 years from now. There will be a new professor. They want to change everything. They want to teach you functional programming, and you'll learn Rust. Guaranteed that's how the class is going to go. But C is a vibe. I like how simple C is, to be honest. But yeah, I'm glad you're in Bog, dude. I hope that's going well. I actually still get the newsletter, so I know what y'all are up to. I know that the teams are still around. I think there's some sort of head that keeps track of projects after they're shipped. That was one problem we had with Bog is we helped people, we gave them software, and then we left. We didn't actually maintain it or answer questions if things went wrong, which felt very odd to me. There should be a support staff of some kind. And it sounds like y'all have that, and a decent amount of products in the wild to actually have someone who does that. Project maintenance team. Exactly. That's cool. Because when I was there, when I was directing, it was, we didn't have that many projects out in the wild. There were a lot of false starts and projects that didn't really live past like one semester after we gave it to them. So we didn't have much to manage, to be honest, which isn't a good track record. And I think that's changed now, which is good. Your second year. Welcome in, man. Also, I'm a little bit curious. Did you do a boot camp? Is there still a boot camp there? Because I have no idea. I was the director of engineering, for reference, 2019 to 2020. So I spent way too much time on the boot camp side and honestly not enough on the project team side. It sounds like y'all got that together. Hooray. But yeah, you were the instructor, dude. Oh, let's go. Let's go. So do y'all still have a director of engineering? And does the director of engineering also lead the boot camp? Now you're an EM, nice. Because when I was doing it, I was the director of engineering and the boot camp leader. So I had no time to do anything. I ended up over-indexing on the boot camp and under-indexing on actually helping project teams do their stuff. Okay, that is how it works? No, we figured out that was a bad idea. Yeah, I should have figured that out too. But I was so rushed trying to get the boot camp done that I couldn't. So just wondering, is the boot camp the same? Is it the same boot camp? I built it with a couple other awesome people. And I kind of wrapped it up in a Notion document with a bunch of lessons and videos. And I also tried to pitch it to other chapters. And I have no idea how that went. But I know I at least left with a Notion doc at this point 3 years ago. We still use the Notion. Okay. I unsubscribed, but every 3 months, I'll get an email saying your Notion doc was updated. And it's fixing a line of punctuation that I wrote 2 years ago, or Max wrote 2 years ago. He was the other director of engineering. He's awesome. And yeah, that is amazing. There are additional slides. I'm glad. You should definitely, build on it. If I was there, I probably would have spent way too much time tearing down the boot camp, rewriting it to teach you Next.js or some other framework, and having a terrible time trying to teach everyone about a new framework. That's probably what I would have done. But it sounds like y'all stuck with the same tech stack, which is React and Node and Express, and just kept shipping stuff, which is great if that's the case. I hope that's what y'all actually did. Stick with stuff that works, because college kids don't have much time to learn new things. So just do something very boring that will actually get something over the wall. Loose advice. But yeah, that's awesome. That's freaking awesome. Still use the Notion. Additional slides. I'm also a little bit curious. Bitsofgood.org. I can't even spell. Bitsofgood.org. Is this, we use Next.js now? Okay, but you teach React in the bootcamp? I don't know about that. Well, yeah, that's going to be a real big problem now that Next.js is changing how they teach React. But it probably works fine enough. You at least learn React from the bootcamp and then you move on. Yeah, y'all might need to rework the bootcamp a little bit to teach you Next.js. You also should probably, I don't know if y'all hit the pain points that I found and didn't have time to fix, but I found teaching CSS the first week or the second week and then revisiting CSS around week 6 was an absolutely terrible idea. Because if you start with CSS, then you dive into JavaScript, that's enough time to forget CSS completely. And also, if you all use Tailwind, which maybe you do, it's maybe better to teach Tailwind from the start. I don't know, just a proposal. But a lot of this stuff uses Pages. Yeah, if you use Pages directory, you're fine. And also, y'all should use Pages directory. If anyone is getting hot on the new Next.js patterns, tell them one more year. One more year until y'all can play with new patterns. Because right now, Next.js is dealing with a ton of crap. There is a lot of ecosystem updates that still need to be made. There are a lot of ecosystem updates. And if you just want something that works and has years of blog posts and libraries at your disposal, Next.js Pages directory is still where you need to be for the next year. Beyond that point, maybe new Next.js patterns and server components are for you. But if you are using Next.js Pages Router, you are right on the money. That's where you need to be. So that's good. That's a vibe. Now bits of good. .org. The movie. The website. The show. I've heard that people don't like that it's built with Svelte, and because it's built with Svelte, no one really wants to update this website. I know the website is Svelte because I wrote most of it. And I love Svelte. It's a fantastic library. It was obviously stupid to use a different set of tools from what you use to build products for nonprofits. It was obviously stupid to do that. I know that. I kind of used my I don't know. I had a lot of technical interest. I wanted to try Svelte, and I just used my power to strong arm a different framework into the stack. So I couldn't help but notice. That the quotes are still these ones. And the projects are still, okay, these are being updated. That's good. I know I set this up with like CMSs and stuff. Shout out to James and, yeah, it was mostly James, who got the CMS stuff working for this to work. So I'm hopeful it's at least easy to update. But yeah, I'm sorry in advance. Yeah, to pull from Contentful, I know. So it seems like Contentful is serving well enough because I'm like, oh, they're still updating these pages. Hooray. So I'm assuming Contentful at least helps you update the content of the website, even if you don't understand Svelte. But it is a shame that you can't modify it now. And there's also these milestones. I'm just going to... Oh, are there new ones? Are there new milestones? Ooh, there are new milestones. There are new milestones. Well done. Well done. That's good. I'm glad that at least happened. I wasn't sure. But that's good. We like that. And these still work. Hooray. And Overlord of Tech, man in the chat, he built the heroic rollup plugin content loader to get that content onto this website. It was garbage to write, I'm sure. It was so garbage that I did not want to write it. And I pulled in a dear friend, Mr. Overlord of Tech, to figure out how the heck to do it. Because we're using a stack that no one else uses. Svelte is much more popular now, but back in 2019, it was not very popular. And it probably took a lot of effort. I know it took a lot of effort to get Contentful to actually load in here. What a vibe. But I'm glad it works. I'm glad the website is still working and y'all can still update the content. Just apologizing on behalf of the 2019 team, mostly just admitting that I'm an idiot. I apologize for Svelte. It is annoying because y'all know React and y'all want to use React. I'm sorry. Usually directors of engineering modify that site. They're cracked enough. They're correct enough to learn Svelte. My thinking was Svelte is so easy that it's not going to be a problem for people who need to contribute. I'm wrong. I think if it's just different at all, even if you think it's easy, it's just annoying. It's annoying to set it up this way. Oh, and there's also a little Netlify logo. That's fun. I hope Netlify is giving you some nonprofit dollars for this right here. Because otherwise, y'all should remove that. But I remember for Contentful, if we put their logo here, they gave us a free nonprofit plan. So I'm hoping Netlify is giving y'all some sort of nonprofit goodies. Yeah. Also, am I crazy, or does Netlify, this logo, does this not look like the Nintendo font? Because whenever I look at this, I'm like, this is the Wii Shop channel. It just doesn't look like, it looks like Nintendo. Am I the only one who thinks that? It's just these little dashes and the blocky font. It just looks like, it looks like Nintendo. I don't know why. And it also starts with an N. You all use Netlify now. We stopped getting funding from Vercel. I remember we couldn't even get funding from Vercel. Like, no one would reply to us. So that's cool y'all had funding from Vercel for even a little bit of time. We were using Netlify when I was there. So I assume y'all figured out Vercel, got it working, then they didn't respond to you for whatever reason, because that's what happened to us. And then Netlify helped, which is great. So yeah, I'm glad Netlify is funding this a little bit. I didn't even know they changed their logo. Yeah, I know. The problem is Netlify is they're struggling. Netlify. There we go. Netlify is kind of struggling right now with product market fit. Vercel really owned the hobbyist developer and even the enterprise developer. And they caught Netlify by surprise, I think. Because Vercel has Next.js. So naturally, whenever they get a new Next.js user, they can drive them to Vercel. And that became a flywheel that got them a ton of customers. Netlify doesn't have a framework. They acquired a few people who work on frameworks, but none of them stuck like Next.js did. They actually had to fire the people that they brought on, or lay off. I shouldn't say fire. They laid them off in a pretty massive layoff, I'll be honest. So, and now Netlify has pivoted to enterprise, and I guess they're helping nonprofits like Bits of Good, so that's awesome. But it means it's not as appealing to hobbyists. I don't use Netlify for any personal projects right now. I actually use Cloudflare because they have a really nice deployment story. Vercel as well, sometimes. And they changed their product pitch from Jamstack, which is a weird word I'm not even going to try to explain. I'm glad they got away from it. To Netlify, composable web platform. No one knows what this means. The word composable is actually on a lot of websites these days. It's kind of a nothing burger that says you can add integrations and extensions to do anything you want with Netlify. That's true for pretty much every deployment platform, so it's not really different. But it's the umbrella that they have, and they're trying to stick to it. They've got Barbie, so hey, they've got some assets, obviously. But yeah, they're struggling right now. They're pushing enterprise. We'll see how it goes. I know that they had a crack team of developer relations people that since left the company, and Vercel has gobbled up a lot of the talent now. And Astro has gobbled up some of the talent too. So Netlify's in a troublesome space. Y'all didn't need to know this. It's just whenever I hear Netlify, I think about, oh man, Vercel versus Netlify used to be, tomato, tomato. Vercel and Netlify do the same thing, appeal to the same people. Not true anymore. I think Netlify is going to benefit from helping people like Bits of Good because the money is in organizations. I mean, Bits of Good's not going to pay them. I mean, we're literally getting a nonprofit deal. But Netlify is going to benefit from doing these larger deals with organizations, with enterprise, etc., while Vercel goes after the hobbyist and also closes enterprise deals. It's the only way that they can survive. So, makes sense to me that they would help out. Cloudflare is hosting? Yes. Is it free? Yes. And they have more than hosting. I'm actually going to show y'all, well, I can't go to my Cloudflare dashboard because that's going to expose a lot of information that y'all don't need to see. But I'm at least going to show y'all, does this just go to, yeah, it goes to the homepage. Does it tell you much about their product? I don't know if it does. But I can show y'all Cloudflare Pages, which is their website hosting solution. And it is sick. It is a really good tool because not only does it help you host a website, it also integrates with a bunch of Cloudflare stuff, like Cloudflare Workers, which is super fast on-demand functions to, on-demand render parts of your page. So you don't need to stand up a server with a Docker container. You don't need to use Vercel Serverless, which has slow startup times. You get super fast startup times, no server to manage, and You can integrate with a SQLite driver for storage and an asset driver to store images and audio files and other things. I actually built a soundboard that lets you upload audio files, and I just host on Cloudflare pages, use Cloudflare's asset storage, which is called R2, and that's it. I'm using Cloudflare for everything. I get assets, I get storage, and I get web hosting. All for free. Their free tier is really, really big. And because edge functions are fast, there's less compute time. So that's also less per request, less dollars spent if you actually scale to some sort of enterprise level. It's just good on all fronts. The only thing that's bad, it's not good on all fronts. The only thing that's bad is the development story. It's really hacked together. Cloudflare has a runtime that is like Node, but without some stuff. So as soon as you build a website and deploy to Cloudflare, it really hurts when you run into the areas where they monkey patch Node and this doesn't work how you expect, or this just isn't supported. So that part sucks. They have a different runtime from Node.js, so certain packages and other things don't work. That is painful. I haven't run into it, but I know it's painful. That would be the big con, I think. And they're still working on the development story. But using it with Astro has been an absolute joy. And I recommend it. I honestly need to reach out to them for a sponsorship because I will talk about Cloudflare. I could do YouTube videos about it. We should really get the word out, I think. Cloudflare as hosting, yes. Composable is the new headless? Maybe. I don't know what either of those words mean at this point because everything is composable, mostly. And everything on the market right now is headless. I think there's room to not do so much headless stuff, but different story. I deploy my Astro blog to Netlify. You use Astro? Heck yeah. I work there. But yeah, Astro blog on Netlify, fantastic choice. It just kind of works. And if you're doing static stuff, just use Netlify. That's fine. No way Google uses Netlify and not GCP. Yeah, so Google has a ton of autonomous product teams. And they're free to kind of use whatever they want sometimes, as long as they get company permission, which, bureaucracy, all that red tape. But when they do things, they can reach for external services. So I've seen Google's logo on Vercel, I think. I'm pretty sure. Oh, and let me actually open this incognito so I don't open my Vercel account. All hail the almighty triangle. All hail the almighty triangle. Let's go down here. Is Google on the page? I know I've seen Google in a logo before. Maybe they don't have their companies on here. Next.js, docs pricing, customers. Yeah, there we go. There's our word cloud. Google. Google's not on here. Well, I guess it makes some sense, but I don't think any of these are actually going to be findable. Yeah. Okay. So let's see if we spot a Google in this word cloud right here. We've got eBay, Sonos. It's funny that these are bigger. I guess they're testimonials, so makes sense. Tailwind CSS, really. Meta's on here at the very least. But yeah, where's Google? We got GNC. Interesting. Where is... I don't see it. Maybe Google doesn't use Vercel. I swore I saw their logo at one point in time. Maybe not. Never mind. Unrelated, but I love Cloudflare's engineering blogs. They're good. I saw their blog about the outages because Cloudflare had a massive outage that was actually a server farm going down. It was a really big deal. And they didn't have replication set up for some of their products. So when that server farm went down, they couldn't rewrite requests because they weren't replicated anywhere else. So it just nuked a bunch of Cloudflare services. Really good read on crisis management, what actually goes into it, and what they're going to do differently from here. TLDR, they're probably going to have to pause a lot of feature work while they just work on stability. It's going to be a rough journey for them. But hey, if they're working on stability, that's good. SQLite integration for some small basic state is cool. I agree. I'm working on Astro Tailwind. That's good. In another tab as we speak. Very nice. Very nice. It seems like a lot of viewers are using Astro right now. It is in the stream title, so I'm not that surprised. But hey, what are you going to do? The triangle demands to know. What will you ship? What will you ship? What will you ship? You must answer the triangle. Okay, that's the end of our public service announcement. I don't know what came over me there. That was a little scary. I don't know what just happened. I also use Astro. Yes, that's cool. We've got some Astro users around here. I like that. I'm new here. Welcome in, A7ush. That's not how you say your name, but welcome in. Okay, so this is what I'm going to work on my own Astro site. And I'm pretty loud while I do it, so don't expect this to be a chill co-working session. Happy I came across it. I'm happy you came across it too. Feels like the anti-framework in a way. Kind of. Instead of saying, you gotta build websites this way, Astro's like, what if you could just use anything? What if HTML was kind of good enough? And, as a nerd, that is absolute heaven because you can build your own frameworks inside of Astro if you really want to. Or you can just use it pretty much how it comes out of the box. So that's a vibe. What if you could just use HTML? Who would have thought? Who would have thought that you could just use HTML? If you think React Server components are HTML, no, they ain't. I have a whole video uncovering why they are not. And I love that Astro doesn't do anything that I described in that video. What are you doing? We're working on our personal site, actually. Don't worry about this debug view. It's a mess. But I'm trying to rebuild this dusty old girl, which looks, it is a beautiful website, onto a whole new theme. We've got dark mode. We're building it on Astro. We didn't have Astro before. And what I'm trying to do right now is a little video player. So last time, we built this beautiful candy-colored Mac. If y'all remember those, Mac computers that were all cyan and you could see through them, that's what I tried to model here. And what I want to do is make this interactive. So in the middle here, we'll have, a thumbnail for a video, and clicking on it will load a YouTube embed. And also, we'll have a play button right here with a nice animation to make it, click. And roll the dice button that finds just a random video that I did and shows it to you. That's it. I also want to add some drama to it. If we have something on screen, it will have a halo effect around it to be the overcast, the light bloom of the video. I want to figure out how to do that. That would be so nice. I know. It already looks good. I don't even want to do it yet, but this looks like it's going to be really cool. So the first thing that I want to work on is probably not the most important thing, but when you visit this, what I want to happen is this CD drive right here, I want it to go, and then I want the screen to light up. That's what I want to happen. So it's like you're inserting a CD, and then it boots up, and then you see the video. You know what I mean? And then clicking on play will load the embed. Clicking random will load a new video. Fairly simple. And that's roughly what I have here. I was showcasing GIFs of projects in the past. Now we're doing YouTube thumbnails. But it has the same thing where you can click to learn more, the play button, and another random project with the dice icon to get a random project. We're not going to have this dice animation. This was, by the way, pure CSS. Pure CSS. This is pure CSS right here. It took me 6 hours during COVID to make that, something like that. I can't remember how many hours, but it was a long time. Okay, it was a long time. We're not going to do that. I think what I'm going to do instead is just have this icon spin and then stop. That's all I'm going to do, just spin and stop. I love the CRT line. Yes. Everyone points that out, which tells me we need this. We need this scan line. Also on this one. The dice animation is cool. The problem with this website also is I put this at the bottom of the page. 90% of people just look at the starting screen and don't look at anything else. The other 10% might come down here to the newsletter or a description of me. Then there's 0.001% that actually realize there's a computer. It was at the bottom of the page. No one knew that it existed. I always got comments on, wow, that drawing looks good. And I never got comments on anything else on the homepage. And I was like, I put a lot of effort into this. Why did I bury the lead? So what I think I'm going to do, so the whiteboard is going to be the showcase. This is a whiteboard, by the way. I was just debugging this eraser view. You can see it like erases the whiteboard. It's going to be cool too. But I need to move this up, I think. Not even, like, I don't even want this to be the first thing you see. I want this computer to be the first thing you see when you start scrolling down. And then it tells you a little bit more about me. It's a little funny to put in brief after that, but I'm going to do it. Then there's something about me. Then there will be links to my blog. Because for me, I'm videos first, blog second. I don't blog that much. I might get back into it, but I'm not going to promise anything. Videos, though, I have a schedule. Kind of. I promise uploads. So, you know, we'll get it going. So let me start by doing exactly what I just said. I'm going to go to my homepage, and I'm going to reorder the computer section. I'm going to put it at the top. Nice. That looks really, really good. And we're going to do the welcome animation first, even though we probably shouldn't. I'm going to take some hard-coded data. This one, maybe. Inspect element. Oh, I can actually get the image, huh? I'm going to save image as. Or actually, is this just a... I think this image is just a link to the YouTube embed. So let's just use that. Computer. And I'm using just Vim. I am using Vim Motions. That was the one challenge. Originally, I could only build this website using NeoVim. Couldn't even use VS Code. And then I realized that was the reason I never wanted to work on my website. And I need to get this thing done. So let's compromise. You can use VS Code, Vim Motions only. And I'm actually stretching it a little bit further. I'm trying to use Vim Motions in 2024 as my daily driver at work. We'll see. I have practice with Vim Motions now, but I still mess up a lot of things. But we will see. We will see what we can get up to. Do you think it's faster? I think at a certain point it'll be faster. I hope. For some things it is. Here's what I love about Vim Motions. Well, here's some motions that are faster than what you do in VS Code. My favorite one is being able to edit inside of some delimiter. For example, maybe I want to edit the contents of these quotes. If you were in VS Code, you would kind of like highlight the quotes or something and, you know, go word by word maybe or something like that. Maybe you have a plugin to go faster. But in Vim, I just say CI quote. See? I quote. That's all you have to type, and then you're editing the contents of those delimiters. You can also do it for brackets. CI, open bracket. Now I'm editing inside the bracket. Beautiful. I love that. But because I'm in VS Code, I still get all the goodness of multi-cursor. I didn't realize this, but NeoVim, like regular Vim environments, they don't have multi-cursor. Like fundamentally, they just don't have it. But I love multi-cursor for stuff like this. If I need to access multiple instances of a string, you can do Command D in VS Code to access everything of that word. For example, I want to edit everywhere that says div. I can just hit Command D on the word div. It'll select everything. And now I can go into Vim mode by hitting C, and I can type all of that. Pretty freaking awesome. So now you can use multi-cursor with Vim. You get the best of all the worlds. It does have some cons where, like, you're using the command key for certain things. You're using, like, the space bar, which is the leader key, for other Vim commands. It's breaking my brain doing both at once, I'll be honest. But at some point, I'll get used to it. And I'm really liking it so far. I'm going to mess up a lot, especially doing this live, but that's the nature of the beast. It's like the best things of both worlds. It is. I will say, you know, NeoVim, the reason people like it over VS Code is depending on the extensions you have. If you have lightweight extensions, NeoVim is lighter weight. It has fewer flaws. It doesn't eat up 50 megabytes or gigabytes of RAM because it's an Electron app. VS Code is an Electron app, and Electron apps use a ton of memory. It is nice to use an environment that isn't an Electron app. I get it. But VS Code is really good at TypeScript. The extensions are really easy to update and roll back over time. NeoVim, it is an absolute nightmare to keep up with extensions. I learned the hard way. So I'm glad I tried NeoVim first because it gave me some perspective on what else is out there and what it takes to get to a VS Code-like setup. But I'm just not interested. I feel like to build up to a VS Code or to get everything I want from VS Code, I'm pretty much rebuilding VS Code inside of NeoVim, which why am I doing this? I should just use VS Code. So, yeah. For Vim, I usually get that effect by going into visual line mode, selecting the relevant lines, and doing some, doing the slash command, whoopsie daisies. Oh, is it S or is it, what am I doing? I know that I can do slash in order to regex some stuff, and that kind of sort of works. But it's not the same as just hitting Command D and selecting just 2 instances. Because sometimes I don't want all the instances. I just want the first 2, not the third one. And that is not really doable in NeoVim. You can select all the instances that match a thing, and you can kind of sort of figure out just the first ones, or you can go line by line. But I like in VS Code where I'm like, okay, I'm on a line. I typed this word 3 times, so I'm just going to hit Command D, Command D, Command D to select the 3 instances that are in my line of sight. You can't do that with NeoVim. So there you go. If you select the lines first, it will substitute only in that selection. Yes, but then you have to go selection by selection by selection. I like being able to select the things I want and then start typing. Maybe that's more of a preference thing, but it's faster. It's just more intuitive to me. And the shortcut is really easy to do. Don't know about productivity, but it looks cool. That is a good reason. It looks cool. Your coworkers can check it out. That said, if you're the Vim guy that maps your caps lock key to escape, I already hate you. I'm sorry. I had to deal with a coworker where I was like, oh yeah, let's do some pair programming. Now you go. I sat down at his keyboard. I didn't know Vim motions, and the caps lock key was doing escape. I was like, what did you do to this? This was back in high school, or college, I think. And I was like, what are you doing? Why would you do this? Why? Don't be that guy. Don't go all the way with the mechanical keyboard remapping keys. Don't be that guy. Keep it to the stock key bindings. Don't break your OS just to use Vim, because then your muscle memory is just a mess. And I thought the whole point of Vim was to be able to SSH into any server. And oh, Vim is on every server in existence. So I'm learning Vim so I can be good on my feet in any environment. If you have 20 plugins and remapped keys, do you really know Vim, or do you just know your own custom setup? Like at that point, you don't even know Vim. You're too far removed. So I just don't get it. If the whole point of Vim Motions is to be fast on a server where you only have Vim, use Vim. Don't use Vim customized, Vim extended edition. You know, that's just what's up, I think. Now, I will admit I'm using a bastardization of Vim and VS Code, so I'm going to be guilty too, probably. But at least VS Code is popular, so I can put Vim Motions anywhere. Something. It's something. It's something. All right, anyways, sheesh. I have too much caffeine because I'm not working right now. I'm a motor mouth. VS Code tunnels may be sort of solving the problem. With VS Code installed, run code tunnel on the server, and then you can open in a browser. Very interesting. It sounds like you need the VS Code CLI on your server, so you got to figure out how to install that. But that is kind of cool. You can just kind of SSH back out, go in a browser, edit, and stream updates. That's pretty cool. On your local machine, yeah. Pretty cool. And that makes sense that they would have that kind of feature. Okay. So what's the first thing I want to do? I'm going to put an image in here. I'm actually going to call it source, like that. And I have this ibend.svg up here. Oh, that doesn't go to the actual file, huh? Interesting. So that actually goes to the type definition, but it doesn't open the file. That's a shame. I was hoping it would just jump straight to this. But yeah, this is our export from Figma. It's not very pretty. It's not optimized. And I could probably use some tailwind variables for the stop colors and such. But we're just going to roll with what we have. And we're going to try to slot in all the little bits and pieces where they go. So there are a couple ways to do this. You could just absolutely position, like the image tag and the buttons where they're supposed to go. Or you can modify the SVG and like embed the images inside the SVG. From what I know, once you enter SVG mode, you have a whole new set of markup to deal with. So it's painful to use SVG markup instead of just using HTML. So I think what I'm going to do is absolutely position the beast. It is annoying because I need to have a cutout for this part right here. I kind of want it to sandwich in. But I'm hoping with some CSS, I can match this screen size, this resolution, and just kind of absolutely position things. We'll see how it goes. Oh, that service that Overlord talked about is paid. Oh, the font is paid. Yeah. I paid for a font. I paid for it like 3 years ago. And to be honest, you stare at your font every day. And if you're a programmer, you're staring at it for many hours a day. So why not treat yourself and get a nice font? I mean, it feels like, you know, who would pay for a font? You wouldn't download a font. But, you know, shift the value curve a little bit. If you're paying like $5 for a latte, but you can't be bothered to spend $70 for a font, like, I don't get it. You're looking at that font way more than you're drinking that coffee. So just value per dollar, I feel like that font was very worth it. Because so many people ask me what my font is, which tells me it's a good font. And I agree, it's a good font. So also, try to ask your company if you have a desk budget. If you're working remotely, you might have a budget to get reimbursed. So see if you have a desk budget if you work in tech. And if you do, get it reimbursed. You know, just treat yourself to a nice font. I think that's better than buying a desk lamp or buying a monitor that you don't need because you already have a monitor. To me, I would rather spend money on a font than a second monitor. Hot take, because I don't use a second monitor. I use the same monitor for the past 5 years, and I'm happy. 6 years now. Low-key, I can't really tell much of a difference between a lot of programming fonts. Fair. And if that's you, then don't do it. But if you are curious about it, then do it. Whatever. I really like that G. Where's the G? Oh, yeah. The G is a little... It's got a little hook on it. It's nice. I do like the look of that G right there. I'm also too hydrated right now. I'm going to take a bathroom break. I will be back. I don't have a schedule today because I'm off from work. So I don't know how long we'll stream. Probably until I need to eat lunch. And I'm going to have a late lunch. So we're going to go for at least an hour or two more. How about that? I'll see y'all in a minute. I really need a be right back screen. I haven't built one. So if anyone asks in the chat, I will be right back. I can also put it on this board. Be right back. How's that? Oh, I wrote it on a slant. From my vantage point, that looked great. Oh well. I will be back. One moment. We're so back. All right. He's gone. Now we can talk about how much I hate Astro. I used Astro once. Wow, that was a rough blow right there. You only used it once. I don't think the company's going to survive past the year. Man, I'm worried. Okay, back to this. So I had a little think, walking away, about how we're going to embed the image inside of this box. Oh, I need to share my screen. You can see it's kind of on a slant, and it has a border radius. We could try to overlap the CSS so it's just so, but we could also have a sandwich. So instead of having one SVG, we can have the SVG for the front casing, an SVG for the bottom bar, or honestly, wait a minute, we could just have one SVG with a cutout. We don't even need two. Oh my god, I'm doing that. There we go. That's so obvious. Okay, I also need to pull up Figma. I'm on my work laptop, so I always have to vet if the app I'm about to open is a good idea. So 1 second while I pull that up. Yep, I had the company values pulled up. I mean, that's probably public knowledge once we actually have company values. We love company values. All right, back to the share. What I want to do, instead of having this overlay here, well, we could do a mask. Because what does this overlay actually do? Nothing. Oh, it's a gradient. That's why. Well, I mean, we can style that with CSS, no problem. And we can remove the gradient overlay. We have the IBEN right here. What I want to do is, yeah, that is doing that. So you can see it's kind of a cutout right now with all of the weird lighting effects. So what we can do to get this effect is take this, the screen inset. Oh, I don't know if this is going to work, but we're going to try it. We're going to take that. Oh, and we have the case candy. Yeah, this is going to be tough. We need to take this and cut a hole through all the layers. We're going to see if we can do it. So we're going to take that, and we're going to subtract selection, right? Just to start. And now we just have that. Nice. Now we have to do the same for all of these. So we're going to take the this, and I don't think we can take this subtraction, but perhaps we can. I'm going to subtract that. Oh yeah, that just did the border. That's kind of what I expected, to be honest. So what I actually need to do is take this front and copy paste it a couple times, because I'm going to need this for the future. We'll do our first subtraction there. Oh, that didn't subtract it, I don't think. What did that do? Okay, it did. I just have copy paste. So that's our first subtraction. Screen inset. And we can just flatten it. Yep. Then we have another screen front and the casing. We're going to subtract that. Let's just see what that looks like. Yep. So you can see all the layers that we kind of defined here. Look at that color. That's kind of cool. But yeah, that's our second subtraction. So we'll call that, what was that actually called? Screen front. Case front. Case front. We'll flatten that as well. Now we have the case candy, and we're going to copy paste this one more time just to make sure we have it. Take the case candy. Because it's a candy color. That's the only reason I called it that. Okay. Case candy. Move that to the back. Okay. We're doing good. Now if we delete this, we have one more bit. But that's mostly because the case back is too tall. It doesn't need to be as tall as it is. So instead of doing another subtraction, I'm instead going to just do this. Take that and subtract. Oh no. For whatever reason, it's not selecting the layers that I thought it would. So if we do a subtraction here, yeah, it works. Nice. It put it in the wrong place, but now we can just move it to the bottom. Right. Case bottom. Flatten that as well. And now we should be good to go. So we have an image as well. I think that was just testing some stuff. The IBEN needs to be in front of case bottom. It also needs to be in front of case front. Okay. All right, now we're back where we were, roughly. So let me just see. Okay, I don't know. Is this going to be in front of the image? No, it isn't. Boo. We didn't do it right. At least I don't think we did. Ooh, okay, maybe now we did it? Yeah, nice. So we are missing our case front. Or we're missing the border. Did we fuck up? No, the screen inset is here. There we go. It just needed to be in front. Great. And now we'll flatten that just to have it. Look at that. So now if you need an image, you just put it in front of that. Yay. And now we have this mask group, but we don't need this anymore. We can rip out the image right here. Just rip it out. Don't need the mask group. Take that. Oh no, don't put it inside there. Put it outside. And there we are. It's inside. Boom! Big Shack. So we're also going to need to decouple the random button and the play button, but those are going to be separate things. I think those can be absolute positioned buttons on top of the thing. That doesn't really matter. But now the video doesn't have to have a CSS mask or anything. It can just go behind the SVG. Will you be able to click through the hole in the SVG? What does that mean? Click through the hole. I see what you mean, actually. So, like, if we had a play button, I think that's going to be absolutely positioned, but what I was mostly worried about is having this crop. You see how it has to be, like, at an angle with border radius? I didn't want to mirror that with CSS and try to get it pixel perfect. I just wanted the image to go. But for the clickable portion, I think we'll have a button that's just loosely where it needs to be. And if it's a little sloppy, if the touch target kind of goes outside, I don't care. So I don't want it to click through the hole. I think I'm going to just put the button on top and loosely line it up. It gets really rough when you have pixel perfect UI. The reason I avoid it is, look no further than this right here. This is the bane of my existence. I know you see it. I know you see that. I'm so mad I could never get this to work. It was either 1 pixel too big or 1 pixel too small. It was like a half pixel. I don't know what happened. But I was trying to get a gradient, and the only way to get a gradient animation on an arrow is to use the arrow as a mask, basically. And not even a mask. Using the arrow as an overlay on top of a gradient. And this is what happens when you need pixel perfect math for it to look right. It doesn't look right. So I think we got a good compromise here. Let's copy the SVG. I'll go back to Figmoy. Whoopsies. I'll export it again, and I'll put it wherever it goes. It goes in the source, components, IBIN. Replace. Cool. And now all we have to do is reload the browser because life is easy. Yeah, it's right there. And I think that's right because now it's the same background color as the panel. It's the same background color as the background. Water is wet. Okay, so let's put the image right here. Image, source. And you also notice I use my mouse, which I know with Vim you're not supposed to do. It's just like, I don't know, man. I'm trying, but my VS Code muscle memory tells me to use my mouse every once in a while. Like go do definition, I figured out the shortcut. But getting usages and instances, all these things, I'm used to like moving my mouse, clicking on the variable, and getting my beautiful hover overlay telling me more about it. And I need to learn how to get that hover overlay only using the keyboard. I'm working on it. So the alt text is going to be a good video for now. So now we have an image. It's just there. Makes sense. And I want to stop using the mouse. It is nice how they did the mouse, though. It puts you in insert mode straight away. It just makes sense that way. But yeah, let's do relative on the outer block. And let's do the image right here. How do I want this? Class equals Ah, absolute. It's going to be relative to the container, which probably isn't what I want. Well, I think it'll work fine. So we're going to have maybe an image container just so I can work in padding because that makes everything easier. So let's say it's like P12. I'm just making up numbers based on the size of the computer. And we'll make this absolute. We'll do top 0. And I think it'll be inset 0, but let's find out. And then we'll just do the image inside of there. Now this is something I haven't figured out in Vim. You see how it added an auto closing tag? And I'll zoom in one. How do I stop doing the auto closing tag? And what is the best Vim motion to take this tag and movement? And move it. All I've figured out is visual block $D and then P. It feels like a lot of strokes. And it was much easier when I could just highlight it and move it, when I was allowed to use a mouse. I need to figure things out. Okay, so this is where z-index comes in handy. Usually you don't want z-index, but here you absolutely do. And when you create a relative layout, you have a new, what's called a stacking context. So this is, they do it in multiples of 10. I don't know why that is. But this should be, oh my god, and z-index didn't work. Of course not. Of course not. Why didn't z-index work? Me being all cocky that was going to work. What? Garbage. Does absolute break stacking context in ways that I don't know? I'm not sure. I do know that there's one hack with CSS Grid to overlay elements, where you can put them in the same grid column. And there was a blog post about this I need to save somewhere. But you can see there, you can do a grid row start on all of these. Grid area, that's a weird usage of grid area. But yeah, you can say grid column. You can just do grid column, I think. We'll see if that works. But I'm pretty sure that you can do grid column to overlay things in a similar way. Let's see if we can do it. So instead of doing position absolute, I'm just going to delete all of that. I don't care. And we're going to delete the z-index. So how do you jump to the next closing quote? I feel like that's going to be a Vim motion once I get better at Vim. But yeah, okay. So we've got this. I don't think we need this anymore. And we're going to do a CSS grid on this. Get gritty with it. Grid calls 1. And down here where we have a class, we'll do grid. Come on, help me out. No, there's no grid start. Okay, there's column start. That'll do, maybe. Is that going to work? I don't think it did. I want them to overlap. I thought that was going to work. It didn't. I mean, there's a lot of code here. So maybe we just need more things. We have row start, column start, grid row end. Well, this will tell me if it's adding in secret rows. Let's inspect. So we have grid calls 1. Is that even compiling? Yeah. We have a min-max on that one. It's a repeat of 1, which is a good idea unless you're trying to hack it, which I am. I'm trying to hack it right now. Dang it. Yeah, you see how it does that? Now it's overlapping the text onto the image. There's a way to do this without position absolute. So you can do container, all right, and I don't know why template columns are always a thing. Oh, interesting. That is a cheat code for sure. So you can say everything inside of it is going to have the same grid area. Yeah, not bad. Object fit color, kind of, sort of. Maybe I should try that. The overlay grid area, moving onto the containers to direct children. Grid area arranges each of them so that they overlap the same space. This example, grid template areas with the same grid name. Grid area makes the code a little more readable and works well as a pattern for other overlay items. And instead of grid, use integers. Yeah, there you go. So that's a shorthand for grid row start, grid column end, etc. Huh. Another common overlay pattern can be seen in image carousels. I hate image carousels, but maybe we can learn something. Let's start with the first one, which was setting the grid area. I don't know what that's actually going to do. Let's close out of that and that. I obviously don't know the tailwind equivalent, but it would be cool if I did. Call area? No. I know that grid area is just not a thing in Tailwind at all. And I think you can do the... Is this roughly the equivalent? No. No. Very sad. Yeah. So let's just delete all of that. I should get better at deleting text, probably. I feel like I should just get better at everything with motions. Let's see here. Let's do container on that, whatever. Container star grid area 1/1. Does that work? I think that's doing the same calculation. It's just not actually going to overlay them. It feels like it should. Oh, it is actually overlaying them. It's just the image. Oh, the image is inside of the div. We had it right. It's just not going to center it, because of course it's not. Huh. Okay. Maybe I can undo my way back where I was. Let's see. Yeah, if I do this, do we get the same result? I don't think we do. Oh, we don't. Yeah, because here, well, it's not even telling me where it is. It's just nowhere. Okay. I think you would need a lot of code to put it back where it was. I would much rather just write CSS right now. I've run into this a lot of times with Tailwind. Anytime it's a hack, you can't use Tailwind for it, which is a good instinct. If it's ever super technical or a little hacky, Tailwind doesn't help you. Makes sense. that tracks. I'll hop off for lunch. See ya, man. See ya. I'll be on for a little bit, so you might catch me on the tail end. Or the tailwind. That was bad. That was really bad. Enjoy your lunch. Okay, so I think we can center it vertically. Or something like that. It has a... I don't know why the computer got smaller when I did this. It feels like it shouldn't have gotten smaller. Yeah, can you do like an item stretch on this? I don't know. Do I even need this? Nope, you don't. Nice. So we're going to go over here to this container and say grid place item center, please. Nice. It works. It worketh. And I think to make it stack, we just have to do this. Nope, I'm wrong. That's a shame. So z-indexing is still an issue, maybe. I'm not sure. So we'll do z0, and we'll do z... Oh, wait, no, it's the other way. This is z0, and this is z10. Yeah! Okay. And in order to get it inside the computer, well, first we need to figure out why the computer is so small. I think it's just, yeah, it's using the SVG sizing instead of filling the parent. So this is our guy. Where's that? That's relative grid. Makes sense. I think we want the column to be wider than this. How did we even have it before? I have no idea. I think we want a min width on the column, but that's not going to look right. Do we need a nested div, perhaps? Mayhaps we need a nested div. Or a wrapper div? I don't know. Let's see. So we do have px on this guy. Let's at least remove that for now. Okay, so it's just not obeying its max width anymore. That sucks. That sucks. I wanted to do that. Can you say width full? Is that all we need? It is all we need. Okay, well, that's good. And I think we can even add this back. Nice. So now we have the image stretching into this guy. I think we can do the same max width pros on it. And inside of here, we could do max width pros as well. I think we're mirroring the CSS, which tells me we could do something else. And we want this. Well, we don't want any of this. So we just want width full. Okay, that's working. And it's not actually centering anything. We said place item center, but none of that really matters. Because we want this to be just the intrinsic size. So these are, okay, this is the container. Maybe that, yeah, the container should be this max width here. It should be something like that. Something like that? Yeah, it should be something like that. Nice. Oh, because of the background, we can't do that. Okay, so let's just add a new background here. Dark, BG, gray, 900. And that's it. Ugh. I don't know how to select it. And now we can remove max width pros from this. Oh, wait, no. That's where that goes. We can go, oh yeah. Nice. I just did a big Vim motion right there. Big motion. Big motion. And I don't even think you need the relative position. Sick. I did it. That's what I want. So now the question is, why is computer having big margin? Because that is big margin. We have a PX12, but there's no margin. Yeah, I don't know why the SVG is actually as big as it is. Oh, it looks like it's because of aspect square and just other things that are messing with it right now. So how do we fix that? I don't know. We have width 100, and we also have height 100, which doesn't seem right. The aspect square, I don't know what that's really doing, but I'm going to remove it. Oh, no. Oh, no. I Vimmed myself. No. What did I break? Okay. Oh, it was aspect square. All right, I didn't break anything. Heck yeah. Let's go. I think we also want to remove this, so... Okay, that doesn't work. So I think you can do a visual select. Then you can Command D. Nice. Then you can just hit delete. It does break your cursor if you have it set up the wrong way. Ah. I'm trying Vim motions right now, okay? I'm trying them. I'm just trying to see what I can do. Like that. Nice. Not bad. Anyways. It looks like this could use a bit of padding on, like, the inside. And maybe max width pros. No, max width pros is fine. I mean, this is enormous. I'm aware. This is like whoa, that's a big computer. I don't really mind that. I kind of think it has charm. Just the fact that it's so ridiculously big. We can play with that later. Yeah, I don't think we need padding on the parent container either. I think it goes on the child. Yeah, there we go. PY6. That should probably be small screen sizes and up. PX. I think we want a very large PX margin. And we'll make it smaller for smaller screens. Okay. So now we need to get the image just a bit snugger inside of this boundary. So I have no idea if that's even necessary. I like removing CSS to see, do I still need that? Because I always end a project with like 30% classes that I don't need. I was refactoring one bit of code and I had border radius 3 times on the same element. I'm like, why do you have border radius 3? What? Look at your CSS. You might have missed something, kid. Just a reminder. Daily reminder to brush your teeth, shower once a day, and check your CSS hygiene. Those are the 3 ingredients to a healthy life. Right there, you heard it here first. So can we do padding based on percentages? I think that's going to really benefit us. Because I want this, well, okay, I can't remember what the percentages are relative to, but we'll at least try it. So this is just PX, actually. So PX 10% is too much. How about, and watch this, Vim motion to decrement numbers, 5%. Pretty good. Let's do 7%. This isn't an exact science. But yeah, that's pretty good. And if we check out the image, yeah, the image is in a really good spot. Well, it's actually just ever so slightly too small. It's got some padding on it, which is a little funny. But yeah, okay, there we go. 6. Now let's do the PY, or honestly, PT. This will also be maybe 6%. Let's see if that works. Nearly. Let's take a look at the image. The image it's still got some room, but I want it to be centered in the box. And it looks like the aspect ratio isn't quite right. I didn't even pay attention to the aspect ratio when I made this. I probably should have. Thinking it over. I really should have thought about the aspect ratio. Well. Live and learn. It's done. It's feature complete. Yeah, let's go ahead and do a 9% on that. And 10%. Seems good enough, perhaps. Mayhaps. Yeah, that's pretty good. So now we need to see if those percentages scale, because I have no idea if they do. So if we scrunch, okay, the percentages scale. I love it. Okay. And you can also add a CSS filter to the image, and that will make it look even better. And I don't even think I need the containing div anymore. I'm going to remove it. But if we have a blur, for example, do we have that? Is it filter? Is it like filter blur? Yeah, nice. And I want a small amount of blur. Oh, that's so good. Tailwind, yes. This is good. So I'm very curious, does the wrapper div do anything right now? It does absolutely nothing. Oh, that's so great. So now we just don't have a wrapper div. And we have our image. Nice. Done. Ship it. Let's actually do a commit on that one, because that's awesome. Feet, IBEN. This is what I'm working on. We have the IBEN, and we got the image. Image cutout is really what we did. Now let's take a look at getting a bloom effect on the outer one. So I think I'm going to render this image twice. It's going to be the same image source, but now it's going to be in the same group. So that's cool that all of these are just going to overlay. I don't need absolute positioning on any of these. Yeah, I mean, roughly that. I don't even care about this, but we're going to have filter, blur, large. It's going to be a large blur. The width is going to be very big. It's actually going to overshoot. So it needs to be with like 120%. There's no padding. So get that out of here. So now, if we head back over here, we have a bigger image and it's blurring. Okay, all of this is looking good, actually. We just need it to be underneath the other image, which is it? I couldn't tell you if it is. It's really hard to tell. Nope, it's not. It's overlaying the image. Interesting. I didn't expect it to do that. Because the group that we have here is this goes on top of this. Okay, z-indexing. So it's probably a z-indexing issue. It's probably a skill issue, really. But let's just put these in the same stacking context. Z10. Okay, makes sense. We'll do this as Z10 and this is Z20. All right. I can't tell if that worked. I don't think it did. Yeah, I think the difference is... Oh, it's probably just the drawing order, isn't it? Yeah, I'm an idiot. I think this actually goes up here. And then you don't need the z-index. I think I just drew them backwards. Yeah. So here's a question. If I remove that and put this down here... No, that doesn't work. That's surprising. Okay. So yeah, and if I hide this... Yeah. Interesting. So we still need the z-index on this. I wonder why. Block versus inline block? That can always be a thing. But yeah, we're going to take that image that we drew just now. I think we still need the padding top, so let's add back that. Padding top. Well, actually, let's do it by like 5%. Actually, no. No top padding. We're going to do... Well, this is... No. I'm editing the wrong element. That's why. I was like, what am I doing? Okay, so this is a large blur with the 120%. I'm going to make it 140. Just really exaggerate it. And for whatever reason, it's not actually overshooting. Which is not what I expected. I guess it won't vertically center or anything. Wait, where are the images? Oh, okay. So that's our regular image. This is our bigger image. Okay, so that's that. If we crank this to like 180, okay, it doesn't get any bigger. I think past 100%, it's just diminishing returns. Yeah. Okay. So what we need to do instead, I guess, is add on negative margin. Yeah, that kind of works. So we need it to be bigger than 100%. Or maybe we can just do calc, right? Calc 100% plus... Well, why doesn't that work? That's my question. So I could do some calculations to like get it to be enormous. But it doesn't really give me what I want. And it's also not getting any bigger past a certain point. Why is that? Is it because it can't go past the bounds of the grid? Is that the issue? Perhaps. Perhaps it doesn't go beyond the bounds of the grid. It is stuck to the grid, and there's nothing you can do. That could be it. So what we could do is take this grid element, make it relative or something. Well, let me edit this in code. So we'll go back here. We'll take this container, make it relative. We'll take this filter, delete the 140, because I don't think that's doing anything. Make this absolute inset -5 rem. You know, just some crazy value. Okay. Are we getting somewhere? We're not really getting anywhere. I made a position absolute. I thought that would make it enormous, but it didn't. It actually just left it where it was. Huh. Huh. Yeah, so I guess to make the image fill it, well, could you just do block? No, that doesn't work. I thought inset 0 would stretch it to fill the container, but it doesn't do that for some reason. I thought it would at least do it for the div. Huh. Okay. I do want a width on it, so we could just fudge a number, but I don't want to. I want it to be based on percentages. Sure. Instead of dealing with an image, I'm just going to deal with a rectangle. Class equals BG red, because I can't even see the other thing. Let's just say class BG red with full height of like, or honestly aspect square just to force it. Like, give me a big red div. That's what I want. Give me the biggest red div I've ever seen in my life. Apparently it did. I just can't see it. Oh, I think you have to actually give it a number. That's probably the issue. Yeah. Just something. Yeah, okay, cool. Sup, Beyond? Sup, Dota 2 attitude? That's a good attitude to have. Welcome in, sir. How'd the Dotas be going? Okay, so I want this to be bigger. I want this to be larger than life. What can we do? Usually I do like a MX -5 rem. Usually a negative margin is the fix, but then you need to figure out widths to make this possible. If I do 140%, okay, now it's working. So I think it was an issue with the image, now that I'm playing with this. Interesting. And it's also going to resize the grid to contain the child element. I get that. So I don't think we want this. I think we just want height full. There we go. Okay, so now it's with the 140%. This is working. I think the issue was using an image tag. Sometimes you just need to try it. So yeah, that is an image. I haven't played Dota 2 in a long time, 5-10 years, but you kept the attitude. It was never about the game. It was about the attitude, you know? And that is a vibe. Oh no. So okay, so now I want to see if I can get the same effect on this guy just by calling it block. Let's see if we can learn a little bit of CSS here. That, delete, put this down here. You see, that doesn't work. The image just doesn't want to resize itself. Even though I have display block, height full, with 140%, the image does not do it. But the div does. I'm okay just kind of dealing with the hack here. I'm just a little bit disappointed that it doesn't work how I expect. Oh well. So we'll just say width full, height full, and we'll move the image inside of the div. You know? So how do I jump my cursor to the nearest? Well, I could probably just do that. Yeah, that works. Cool. And now, yes, we have our image. Behold. Love it. Yes. Okay. So now we have, and this looks insane, but it was actually my goal, I swear. So one thing that we can do, now that we have the blur effect, is try to make this super saturated. So you could say like, or lightness maybe? Lightness? Nope. Image, color, CSS, image, color, filters. Yeah, what filters do we have? No, don't take me to... I almost landed on W3 Schools. That's for chumps. We only use MDN docs around here. Brightness. All right, brightness. Brightness, 200, perhaps. I want to make this have a bokeh effect of some kind. Okay, so that is definitely cranking the brightness, I think. So if I bet... Yeah, okay. So now we've cranked the brightness. The question is, what is this actually setting the value to? It's setting it to 2. So if I say brightness 3, yeah, okay. Brightness 4, enormous. And that's what we want, surprisingly. I think we want an image stretch. I want it to be so non-obvious what you're even looking at. I want the blur effect to be redonkulous. So blur large is only 16 pixels. 16 pixels. 16 pixels. 16 pixels. Try 64 pixels. Yeah. Okay, so that is starting to look like a mess, which is what I want. Okay, what I'm trying to do is have corner glow. So on the edges of the screen, I want it to be like an old CRT TV where you just see, you know, the brightness of whatever you're looking at. I want that just for dramatic effect. And I wanted to see how far I could go with it. And yeah, I think the height is not going to be height full. I think it's actually going to have a little bit of padding. And it's going to be like height 70% or something. I'm just making up numbers. Yeah, because I want it to be where the screen is, kind of, sort of. We'll do the same padding top 10% even. We'll match what we have down there. Why did that move the everything? Why did that move everything down? That doesn't make any sense. I guess it makes... No, it doesn't make any sense. Why would that happen? Wait, why would that happen? What the heck? Why would that happen? Maybe if I do margin top, it'll be better? Kind of. But yeah, how does that mess everything up? What? How do? Yeah, I don't want it to move everything down. Okay, well anyways, it's getting closer to what I want. Yeah, so now we'll take this, make it 10%. You kind of see what I'm getting at here? Padding top, yeah, it doesn't work. It's actually resizing my grid area because I did this in a very weird way. It's what I get. Okay, so this is getting somewhere. I think it needs to be less bokeh still. So let's just remove that. Better. The blur is causing some really bad striation, though, which I wasn't expecting. I didn't think about that. No, I tried padding and margin. They both do the same thing. I'm using a hack where everything is a CSS grid and they're all in the same column. That's how I overlaid everything and centered it, instead of using absolute positioning. You eat fast. Welcome back, Overlord. Yeah, so we've got a bit of corner glow. We're getting somewhere with it. I'm just wondering if maybe it shouldn't be the image. Maybe it should just be colors. You know what I mean? It should just be a color bouquet so it looks good. I had cheese. I hadn't eaten cheese in months. There's something so wholesome about that. I haven't eaten cheese in months. Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed it. Okay, so I don't know. Is just height is width 100% fine? Do we even need negative margin? Because I'm pretty sure when you add blur, it adds width. Yeah, it just adds width. I didn't know about that, but today I learned. Yeah, it's a dieting thing. Yep, fair. Definitely full of calories, so I respect that. What kind of cheese? Great question. Good answer. Good answer. Okay. So let's do MX 10%. I don't know. No, that doesn't work. PX 10%. Oh, that doesn't work because we're doing width full now. Dang it. Oh, I'm an idiot. You need brackets when you do that kind of thing. Oh, yeah. That is getting somewhere. So much for wholesome. Semi-soft ripened cheese. Okay, I mean, hey, we like the specifics. I like the specifics. Yeah, I'm thinking that I thought the image as the color source would look good, and I just don't think it is. I think we need to just style this on our own to be like our own thing, because this is just ugly to me. I mean, my skin tone is ugly, so I don't like it. What you're trying to tweak, just in general, I don't like what I'm doing. I wanted to have some corner glow of a TV in a dark room, but it just doesn't look good to use the image as the source for that. I feel like instead, I should just use a solid color that matches this color gradient that I already have. And just put that, like a big radial gradient that even moves around or something. It's not going to match what image it is, but also, why does it need to? I don't think it needs to match it. Yeah, it just looks really messy. Like YouTube ambient mode? Maybe. I kind of know what you're talking about. What is YouTube ambient mode? I think it sources a solid color, and it uses that as the background. It's like way more subtle than what I'm doing. I think you can even see some ambient mode. Okay, so let's actually try that. I'll go incognito, so you can't see my watch list, all right. And then we'll go to, screw it, Mr. Beast. And then we'll do, oh God, do you get copyright strikes for that? Okay, so let's go to set. Oh, really? Well, that sucks. 1 second, I'll pull up a video. Y'all don't need to see my watch history. What is on my watch history, actually? Let's see. Trevor Wallace, you ruined my thumbnail game. Trevor Wallace is funny, but he goes for the clickbait, doesn't he? I was watching a lot of rally racing because right now I'm playing Dirt Rally, so there you go. Here's a random guy racing in a Focus RS. There you go. We'll watch that. And then we'll do awesome stream more of this. Thank you. Let's go to, I meant to go to this button, not the bell button. If we go to settings, oh, I don't want to show you everything. I don't know if anything sensitive is in here. How do you enable ambient mode? It's in the video settings. Oh, well, that's easier. Oh, well. This works anyways. What are video settings? Where do you even find those? Here? Oh. Okay, so I turned on ambient mode. I'll turn off the theater mode. Oh, yeah, you can see it on the edges. This is what I want. So it looks really smooth. It looks really, really smooth. I like how they did it. I've seen this on mobile as well. So it's not, it is sourcing the image, 100%. I'm just curious, how does ambient mode work? And is this something I can just do in CSS? Has anyone written a blog post on that? YouTube ambient mode with CSS. Just a plucky, yeah. Yeah, this felt like a CSS trick sort of thing. Okay, all right, here we go. So, yeah, curiosity me. I set out to replicate the effect. Oh, it's a canvas element. Yuck. Well, I'm glad I didn't go there first. Despite I have very little to go on, I decided to reverse engineer the code. That's how you do it. That's how the pioneers did it. So you're making it a canvas. All right. Canvas element is a container element where we draw the graphics with JavaScript. I know what canvas is. And I think it could be useful. Canvas not limited to presentation. You can do interactive graphics. So, but SVG can also do most of this stuff. Yeah, that's true. It doesn't require additional DOM nodes for drawing paths and shapes. True. Okay, so you might expect Canvas accepts attributes. So you could say with height ID, sure. So closing tag, that. Okay, yep. This is what I expected him to do. I was using CSS effects for this, but he's using a canvas. We work with pixel graphics, so stretch the smaller canvas in a wider container results in a blurry and pixelated image. This actually looks good. Wait, really? Oh, I see. Huh. That's all you have to do. So if you set the height real small, then you set the image source, and then you stretch it. Huh. I'm surprised that works. Accessibility, all the content updates happen JavaScript in the background, but we don't care because this is just a little bit of sprinkles. Yep. Then manually updating them to reflect the current content displayed on the canvas. Yeah, but I'm not playing a video. I just need this for my thumbnail image. When you actually do the YouTube embed, I don't think we need it. I think we can just keep it. Numerous canvas frameworks, including are designed to help that. I don't care about that, though. Okay, so a lot of this is going to be making it update with video playback, so I get that. But also, he didn't really show me the code that I wanted to do. Can you show me a code thing? We'll blur the canvas, which blends the pixelated colors. We will place the canvas behind the video using CSS absolute positioning. Yeah, give me some code, please. First, let's start with the markup. Okay, cool. Okay, good. I was worried this article was just going to tell me, here's how you might do it, and then not actually answer anything. As we've seen in the previous examples, we'll get a pixelated image with dominant colors somewhat preserved. Aria hidden, DS canvas, JS video. But how are you actually putting, sync the canvas and video. First, let's start by setting up our variables. We need the canvas rendering context to draw on it. To save it a variable. Okay, we also use a variable step to keep track of the ID. Yeah, you need a video element, so if I'm using a YouTube embed, you can't do it. But if we have an image, I'm assuming that, we can do something like this. We'll recreate the drawing and update the loop functions. We will actually draw the current video frame on the canvas by passing the video element to the draw image function, really, which takes 4 values corresponding to videos starting at any points. In the canvas coordinate system, which if you remember, it's matched to width and height. It's that simple. I'm surprised it is. So you can pass a video element. It's just like, yeah, sure, I'll draw that. That's nuts. So I guess I could pass a reference to my video or my image, and that'll just work as well. Kind of cool. So we have a draw loop. We don't even need a draw loop because we're just going to do the first image. So, yeah. And if you start playing, the canvas does this. Wow. Yeah, that's crazy. That's the hard part. We have successfully set this up so the canvas updates in sync with what the video is playing. Notice the smooth performance. It does look very smooth, actually. We can apply blur to the entire canvas. Yeah, so you're just using... I didn't know this is just a JavaScript variable, but you could also use CSS to do that. Now all that's left to do is to position it. So you do a border box, inset. This is a vibe. I would probably... I know what I could do. I could take this box right here. This is going to come later. But instead of doing what I'm doing, where I'm like overlaying one image on top of another, blah, 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 I can take this image, take all of these, and then put the overlay as a mask inside of it. And I'll use absolute positioning. It'll make sense once I actually do this. And assuming it works. Okay, and you also had the video padding, blah, blah, blah. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. For MDN, the specification permits any canvas image source. Image, SVG, video, another canvas, off-screen canvas. Yeah, there's a bunch of weird ones. That's cool. Yeah, it has to be over a certain period of time. I think it's the video settings. Yeah. So, this is amazing. Overlord of Tech. I know that sometimes we, at 2 a.m., look at the source code of websites for absolutely no reason. I miss doing that, by the way. But sometimes it's better to Google if some other blogger has actually done it. And of all places, I knew Smashing Magazine would have something, so hooray. I learned something that I wouldn't have learned from YouTube's short source code, probably. But yeah, crazy. So let's see what we can do. I can just remove this. We'll comment it out, just for now. We'll just add a canvas. I don't really care about the positioning yet. canvas, and it's like he did a width and a height that is roughly not really 16 by 9, but 16 by 9-ish. So we'll do the same thing that he did. I have no reason to change it. Oh, sorry. 10, height equals 6. Aria hidden true. That makes sense. We don't need anyone to describe that. And we have an ID on it. I can honestly just select it as the only canvas on the page. ID equals... I also have scope. Is that... No, I have this utility. Come on, man. Import scope from simple scope, please. Don't tell me my types broke again. My types broke again! Oh, no, they didn't. Hooray. Okay. Yeah. So now we'll do scope canvas. This is my way to scope IDs so that they don't leak outside of a component. It is a sick library. And you might be thinking, oh no, you use scope in order to generate an ID in a template. How do you do the same thing on the client? Sir, we have technology. You can just do the same thing. Look at this. Now I'm in a client-side script, and I'm doing the same thing. Boom. Look at that. Guaranteed. Right there. Is this not the best library ever? I think it's pretty great. It generates a scoped ID based on the current file you're in. So it's build time, 0 client.js, 0 ID libraries. We just take the file name, hash it, and then bring it in here. And you can import it in a server or client template and expect them to line up because it's based on the file name. Pretty cool. Parkour. So now we have our canvas, and we can do the same thing up here. And just say scope image. Yes. Image. Yep. And do we need this yet? Perhaps we will. Let's find out. But yeah, now we can do all this. It's a Vite plugin, by the way, so if you don't use Astro, you could still use Simple Scope if you want to. Google today. Vite plugin Simple Scope. Turn up. Stay hydrated. I don't know why I said that. It just felt right. So now you get the context. Cool. Yeah, something like that. Why is this bad? Oh, that's so dumb. You have to typecast everything too. This is why TypeScript for just DOM manipulation, not that great, to be honest. At this point, why are you even using TypeScript? That's how I feel. But, oh well, I'll keep using TypeScript on the client. And yeah, all we have to do is draw image. Image 0, 0, canvas with canvas height. Yeah. Boom. Is that it? I think you have to make the canvas big, though. How do you make the canvas big? Let's see what we have. Do we have anything? We don't have anything yet. But if we take this canvas here that we drew and we make it big, class equals like width, full, aspect, square, we should get something. We do! Oh my goodness, I see it. Let me just delete this and move it to the, or better yet, I'm just going to add a z-index until we don't need it. Yeah, okay, so this is what we're looking at. It looks pretty good, if you ask me. And now we can say canvas.filter, canvas.filter? Image.filter? Where do you filter? Draw, step, undefined, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, blurring and styling. Yeah, it's context. Huh. Context.filter equals blur. And they blurred it just by 1 pixel because 1 pixel is actually a lot in this world. Okay, where did it go? Where did it go? It was just here. Where did it go? Where'd it go? Oh no. Buddy. Oh, the blur broke it. Why is the blur breaking it? Oh no, the blur didn't break it. It's still here. Huh. Yeah, maybe you do have to wait for it and we have a race condition going on. It could be. I think there's a race condition, exactly. So let's just do that, yeah. Image.onload right there. Boom. Context draw image. Boom. Oh, that actually broke it in the reverse order. Why is that? Is this not firing? Why doesn't that work? Nothing. No logs. Onload does not work. How could this be? How could this be? I am confused. Maybe there isn't a race condition and we should not do this. I have no idea. Yeah, it also might be HMR. I know, it might be. But it's very clear to me that if you add onload, it doesn't seem to work. I'll happily restart the server as just a final check. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Where's the rest of my website? Oh no. What's going on? Ah! Where's the rest of my website? It's what? What? Do I have a breakpoint? Is that why? No. Rip Ben's website. Okay, I think the onload was not even allowing it to load, which is pretty odd. I'm just going to keep going. Oh, well. I'm also trying to see, how is this better than the blur hack that we were doing earlier? Is this really better? I'm not sure if it is. You know? I'm not sure if it is. Oh, yeah, we don't need that anymore. Is this really that much better? I'm not sure. I mean, I'm happy to do like a... What I want to do is like just some magic. It's also not actually blurring it, as far as I can tell. This is not blurred. If I change this to like 10 pixels, it looks exactly the same to me. Yeah, I don't think that's blurring. That could be a race condition. Might not be better. They might just be doing the canvas thing, since it's probably the only viable way for a video. Yeah, I know. That might be true. This might not be any better. I was hoping I found just a revelation, but maybe I didn't. So we can see there, they put context filter blur 1 pixel. We can look at their styling at least. They added a box shadow with an inset. Interesting. I don't know what the wrapper even is. Okay, I think he put it somewhere else. Yeah. So you take the canvas, you stretch it, you z-index under something, you opacity a little bit less, you take the video, add some padding. I mean, this is all up to code. I don't know. We have width 100%, height auto. None of this is like jumping out at me as some amazing hack, some amazing solution that I should copy paste and it'll solve all my problems. Because I don't think it does. But yeah, maybe the canvas, well, we set it to display block with 100%. Yeah, okay. And we'll just do height auto, I guess. There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, that'll just make it the height of the thing. I don't even think... Oh, sorry. Yeah. Oh, I should have done... Okay, so if you do /height auto and hit enter, it doesn't actually select it. I wish it did, though. Anyways, I'm getting better at Vim motions, okay? I'm trying to figure out the hacks that I can use. But yeah, I could probably just do blur, medium, or something. Yeah, and that gives you the same effect. So it's no better than what we had. It's really not. I think all we want to do is... Well, yeah, what is the difference between... Yeah, there really is no difference. Because what we've done is we've taken an image and we plopped it on a canvas. But the canvas doesn't do anything different. We have the same functions at our disposal. Huh. That's a shame. So the only way that canvas would be better is if it could take like the brightest colors out of a scene and use that as kind of like a color average or something like that. You know what I mean? Because right now it's a lot of blacks, especially for this thumbnail. And I'll probably have more thumbnails in the future that are mostly dark mode. So what I want to do is find something, and they conveniently used a very bright video, but I want to find something that kicks up the brightness. You know? This is the final demo. Yeah, but it's a very bright video. And this is like the stock footage that they use for everything. It's like the most open public domain video that you can find. Creating a React token, custom hook. Good for you for including that. But yeah, I wonder if there's some native CSS filter for max pooling the color. Max pooling is probably what I want to do. Yeah, the only difference is that 10 by 6, which I thought when I saw that, ooh, that's going to average, or that's going to take any color on the screen and kind of maximize it. You know what I mean? So maybe it is better having this versus what I had before. Because before, you could actually see my face, and I had to blur it really hard to get rid of my face. So this at least does that. But I think you can do the same thing just with image width and height. Like, you don't need canvas width and height to make this happen. I'm pretty sure we could do the same thing with just image width and height. You know what I mean? I bet you could. But we'll work with the tools we have. Is max pool actually the thing? There's color mix. Color mix function notation takes two color values and returns the result of mixing them in a given color space by a given amount. Yeah, I've done this. I've seen this before. So what you could do, for example, is like mix in. Oh, and this is supported in all major browsers, which is very cool. But what would be cool is, well, first you need the color to begin with. But if you could take that and you could sort of crank it. Well, how about this? Maybe what we want instead is really low contrast. So that way the blacks turn grayish and the whites, well, I guess they'll get desaturated. But yeah, I'm just trying to think of what we can do. Because you can crank contrast, and that does that. You can go grayscale, which makes sense. You can rotate the hue, which is rather cool. I just kind of want to take the highlights and crank them. That's what I want to do. So you can do brightness, which is what I was doing before. But brightness will only, make the highs higher. It's not actually going to help you with the lows. You could invert, but that's not good. You can take the contrast and lower it. That was an option. So maybe I'll go ahead and try that. Contrast of like 50 instead, and we'll see what that looks like. Where did it go? Not again. Not again. Okay, yeah, that's roughly what I expected. But what I'm wondering is, can I like do a color mix on the color white or something like that? Just something. Maybe it's as simple as just a white square with an opacity of 50%, and you just kind of overlay it. Maybe it's that simple. And then we just, that won't really work though. It'll kind of work. I'm trying to mix bright colors into everything. So that way it just kind of looks better. I don't know. I think you can do like a color mix with a backdrop. You can do like backdrop filter. I've seen this done for Overlays? Yeah, where you want something like this, where the background pokes through the foreground, but the foreground is a predefined color. So you can like make it the color of whatever it is overlaying, but you have some more control. I think we can do a backdrop filter on, I don't even know. So you can do a backdrop filter on this. Yeah, we have a box and a body. That's helpful. So we put something inside of a container. And we say backdrop filter. The class is container. So this is where it gets a little confusing. We want it to be the color of a backdrop, but you can't have an image. You need to have an image URL that is thrown into the CSS, basically, which is tough. We would need background image, probably, and that would let us do this, which isn't great. Color image overlay. CSS. There was an article I read a few years ago, it might be this one, that lets you take an image and peek it through, but you don't want to do just like a color overlay. CSS filter apparently supports SVG filter, which looks really powerful. It is really powerful, but is there anything specific that I should be looking for? I don't know. So you can do that. Pros allows you to set alt text images, involves more HTML and styling than other methods. Yeah, I don't know. Are they going to use CSS filters in this article? Because there was an article that did, and it was really good. It's not this one. It is not that one. Let's go back to CSS image backdrop filter, because I have a devious idea and I want to see if it'll work. Yeah, the backdrop filter is the same effect as filter, except the filter effects only applies to the background instead of the element's content. Right. So I don't even care. I think you can just do, what is this actually doing? I don't think it matters if the background is an image or not. No, they're still using background image for whatever reason. Why do you have to use background image? Why are you using that? That's my question. Can I modify this code? I cannot. So we have background and foreground, blur, 10 pixels. I don't know. Yeah, I don't think this is going to work the way I want it to, so let's not do this one. I don't even know. Did you find anything interesting in this? Yeah, there's some interesting stuff in this. Absolutely there is. I just don't know any of the question marks on all the... Oh, no. Oh, yikes. Yeah, I don't know what road I'm going to go down in that research. So perhaps not. I don't know. Let me think. I think I just want all of it to have some baseline. What are you trying to do? So I've got this overlay here, and I want to have the same corner glow that you get in YouTube when you're playing a video. You see in the corner, it's kind of got corner glow based on the contents of the video. I'm doing the same thing just from a thumbnail. And ideally, I can take that image, I can blur it out, and I can use that image to source the color that's surrounding the screen. The trouble is, if something is a really dark image, it doesn't look good. So I was playing with contrast and other things to sort of deal with that. But this is where I'm at. I read a blog post, I learned things, this is where I am. And we're going to have this sort of outside of the computer. But it's dark, obviously, and that doesn't look very good. So I wanted some way to crank the lowlights and brighten up everything else. I don't know. Because I can totally do brightness 200, and that does something. but I'm not sure if it's everything that I need here. Okay, so yeah, if you do like brightness 3, okay, we're actually getting somewhere if we just crank the brightness really far. But it gets super muddy as well, which I'm surprised by. I thought it would look good. But, oh, I see what's going on. So if you brighten it past a certain point, there's just not enough pixels to work with, and it looks bad. I get it. I understand. So if I increase the resolution of this, and I used a canvas to hack things, courtesy of a blog post that I read, you get... Interesting. So I don't know where this came from. It's almost like it found some pixels that don't exist, and it exaggerated them. I don't know. But if I keep cranking this resolution to like 24 and 40 and all of these other ones, then yeah, you actually get something pretty interesting. If I lower this, though, I'm trying to figure out where that white edge is coming from. Yeah, if I go to the original image, I don't even see a white edge on the image. Yeah, can I just take this right here? Oh, it's this. I see. And when you do it low enough resolution, it doesn't even get that in the image. Huh. All right. I don't know why that white border would be there. Oh, it's my whiteboard literally in the background, isn't it? It's the whiteboard literally in the background. Huh. Okay. Well, maybe I should use a different image just to make sure that this works the way I think it does. If I go to whiteboardtheweb.dev, I can source any image I want. These days, things are darker backgrounds in my videos. Let's go ahead and copy one of the lighter backgrounds and see how it fares. I'll take this. Oh, no. That's what I get for being fancy. And we'll see what that looks like. Yeah. All right. And I do like using a really small width because it just makes it not obvious what's actually in the background. Okay, so for brighter images, it works. I feel like you sort of want to blur first, then crank the brightness, then maybe blur again. I don't know. Is there a way to make sure that everything is ordered in the right way? If I'm using Tailwind classes, I'm pretty sure they manage that for me. Yeah, see right there? It does blur and then brightness. So we are doing blur and then brightness. It's the order that they have defined here. I don't know if we want to blur a second time. I don't even think you can do that. Well, actually, you could, couldn't you? Could be worth an experiment. But it is blurring first and then brightness. That is what it's doing. And I wonder if that's actually wrong. Maybe we want to brighten it and then blur it. It's worth a try. So let's take this canvas here, add a class of canvas, remove these, for now at least. All right, so now we'll do canvas, filter, blur, 1 pixel, and then brightness 0.5. I just want to make sure I actually have this set the same way. Oh, it actually looks different. It's not blurring the sides. What's the difference? Why does this look different now? That's odd. Yeah, why would that look different? Do I need a comma? I just needed a comma, I think. It still looks different, though. That's not doing what it's supposed to. Huh. Filter, blur, medium. Yeah, I don't know. Huh. Why does it look different? It's without comma. Order matters sometimes. Sometimes. Yeah, I didn't have the comma, and that should have worked. But for whatever reason... Okay, well, we were doing medium, so 12 pixels there. And if we put this back where it was, which was blur 1 pixel, yeah, you get the same result. Okay. That was the issue. I was just not blurring the right amount. Okay. How do you visually select to the next line? I have no idea. I'm learning Vim motions on the side here. There's a lot going on. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that, and then we'll change this to 12 to see if we get the same result. We do. Now let's try moving the brightness before the blur. I copied the B by accident. That's what I get. Dang it. Vim is painful. That looks better. Oh, that looks so much better. It's because it takes the blurred canvas and then it exaggerates any differences that are in there. So this is what we want. We want a brightness before blur. We want to edit the brightness before blur. The more you know. Okay. And we want to delete all of these, at least for now. Okay. Look at that. That is much better. Now, for brighter thumbnails, this is just going to look good, I think. Or at least good enough for my purposes. Let's also do... Okay, I put a z-index on it just to see what I was working with. But now I can move it to the background. Yes, that looks quite good. And we want this guy to be on top. So I think we need to take this and just paste it here. Perfect. The last thing to do is to nudge it a little bit. So I'm pretty sure if I add padding, this is going to break everything. Just want to test that theory. I'm wrong. That's why we test things. All right. Nice. So I think we actually want padding top of like 20%. Or 10%. We want it to scale with the background. Not bad. Not bad. So the problem is kind of the fact that it's a square and everything else is not a square. It'll be a little bit annoying to work with, but it's not that bad. Okay, so that's canvas 10%. And I think we can even make it wider. So if we made it 110%, let me just make sure that that actually looks good. It works. It's just not what we want. So I think instead of doing that, I'm going to make the blur more blurry. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, the blur is definitely helping, for sure. And I might even crank the brightness by 2 more notches. Yeah, that really exaggerates everything, which is great. Not bad. It does look a little rough having it not really, match the edges. I'm wondering how we can deal with that. Do we want to like stretch the canvas to be wider than it is tall? Do we want to, I don't know. Do we just blur X more than we blur Y? I don't know. I'm not sure. I think it's a little bit too low, so we can move it up. That's a start. And then we'll work from there. So we want it to be not quite 10%. We want it to be like 8? Nearly. 9. 9's the number. 9 is our number. And the problem is, I guess my face is just brighter over there. And it does look ridiculous having like the shadow effect. This feels like a Steve Harvey meme where he's like laughing and you have the shadow of him laughing. It's interesting. It is an interesting look. But I think we can even do a CSS skew to make it kind of wider. Also, this is taking way longer than I thought it would. I'm going to work on this post-stream, and I'm probably going to stop streaming in a minute because I'm starving. I'm going to eat more than cheese. Enjoy your cheese, though. And I think I'm going to get into some, focused work time to really drive this home. My goal by the end of the day is to have the video display and to have the CD drive effect where it, slides in the CD drive and then the image appears. That's what I want done by the end of the day. The YouTube embed, I don't really care. The random button, it would be cool to get the random button done, but it's fine if we don't. But yeah, I think we're close. I think we finally found what we were after, which is really do the brightness before the blur. That's the advice. That's all we needed to do. And I'm wondering also if the canvas is in the right place, because it looks like it's shifted over, but it might just be the thumbnail too. So I really don't know. Let me see. So we have the canvas right here. Yeah, the canvas is centered. Canvas is fully centered on the screen. It's actually a little 1 pixel over, which isn't what I expected. It could just be the width and the height. So if we like, you know, crank up the width and the height to double what they were, something like 20 and 12. Yeah, now you get more of the sample in there. That was the issue. But you also get more of the variance. Will it be 3D-like? Kind of. I'm just going to do a scale. You know, this CD drive is just going to be like scaled and then scaled down, 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 down. And then I want this button right here to like spring shut. So the button will like scale out slightly. Just so it looks a little bit more realistic. I might even add like a little CSS bounce to make it jiggle when it locks. I'll try to get real detailed with it. Just see if people notice. But yeah, it's not really going to, it's just going to be like a scale transform. It's going to be 2D, but feel 3D-ish. Yeah, so I'm gonna halvesies on this one. I'm gonna go halvesies. Yeah, that's pretty good. So this is just sample of one. You know, this little black portion is in here, so it looks like there's less going on. There's only so much that you can do, really, when you have a brightness filter. I mean, we can really go crazy with the brightness if we want. Yeah, you can go crazy with the brightness, and it rewards you. And if you go too crazy, then you just lose the sample. But that's kind of fine. So this could work. Let's actually try one of the darker thumbnails. I also have one that's React Server Components from scratch. That video has a juicy little thumbnail that is mostly dark on the edges. It'll be brighter on the left than it is on the right. So let's copy the image address, actually. What does this look like? Oh, interesting. That's a GIF, right. I forgot about that. So to get a short thumbnail, I think you go to imageyoutube.com. You get the, oh, I can't remember. I think it's just the video ID. Right? So you go here, you get the video ID, and you grab, you grab that. Dang it, I wish I had, the problem with Arc is once you go away from the new tab page, it's just different. But, oh, I think it's fine, because all we have to do is this. Cool. So, is that it? I don't know. It is it. Okay. And it looks like the image is a different size, first off. And I don't think the backdrop is even displaying. I hope it's not, because I don't see it. I don't see an apparent thing here. So this is the canvas. We don't see anything on it. I'm not sure what's going on, actually. It should be sampling the video. Is it just not working, or is it such a dark thumbnail that you just don't see it? I doubt that. I highly doubt that. I think the issue is just width and height not lining up or something. I'm 80% certain there's some race condition. Oh my god, dude. You're right. And that looks good. Yeah, it's a little bit misaligned because the text is here and it's not over there, but that makes sense. Yeah, I think you're right about race condition, but I'm not going to solve it because I think the next step here is to refactor this to just use a second image. I don't think we need canvas at all. I think we can get a little bit clever, say source is image source, alt, empty line, class is still canvas pt 9% with full. It's still this. And aria hidden is still true, absolutely. Cool. And we also need the width and height from up here. So let's yoink that. Paste that in, and whoops. And Look at those two oh my God. Well, okay. I think the brightness is cranked too high, but otherwise it's working. I wonder if the width and height even matter though. They don't. Huh. So I think it's just sampling the whole image right now. But the brightness is way too high. Is that the problem that I'm facing? I think the issue is if you do width and height, it's not going to stretch. At least not necessarily. Because once you use a CSS width and height, it overrides it. It doesn't treat it like a canvas you're stretching. So maybe I'm okay with this because the brightness will just be so bright we don't care. Or maybe it's a problem. Okay, yeah. I think what I'm doing is I'm just cranking the brightness and I don't care about the pixel size at all. If you do a lot of brightness, it just barely samples the blue and the gray for my shirt. And I kind of like that. Am I crazy for just thinking this looks good? I don't think we need anything. I also want it to glow, you know, just kind of like fluctuate the same way a CRT would. Like the brightness it's a little wonky and the brightness isn't consistent and it keeps fading in and out or something. You know, something like that. That's what I'm thinking about. But yeah, that looks even better than the canvas solution, so screw it. I got to show you all this cool scripting logic, but we didn't need any of it. We don't need any of that. I think you may want blur, brightness, blur. I think that would effectively be the same as using a small canvas width and height. Really? Oh, I kind of see what you mean. So you blur it to be really small pixels, then you brighten it, then you blur it again to make sure it's smooth. But I kind of like it as is. I don't know if we need it. That would be the same effect, but I kind of like this. I don't know if I want to change it. Let me move it to the foreground so we can really see what we're working with, because I have no idea. If I change this to be Z20, yeah, that's what it's doing. So it's cranking the brightness so, this is exactly what I wanted it to do. It's cranking the grays so much that you can't even see what's going on. This is actually what I would see on a wall if I was looking at a TV and it was like bouncing off the corner of the room. This looks really accurate to what I wanted. Yeah, I don't really want to change a thing. Do I need to change anything? Because this is exactly what I wanted. Screw it. I don't care. Yeah. I'm just going to call it glow. Then I'm going to head down to 23J. Just going to call this glow. Nice. Transform skew. You're right. We do need that. I don't think it's less necessary now than it was before. I'll be honest. But I will do it. Yeah, do we really need it? I don't know. I do want to put back the image source that we had earlier. And this is so annoying. The new VS Code resolver for Git commits doesn't let you copy paste from previous changed lines. So if I need to go back in my history and see what I used to have, I can't select the text. Look, it doesn't even select it. It sucks. I've hit this so many times where I'm like, I just want to select the old text. No, you can't. Come on, man. Am I crazy or is that just bad design? Because, come on. That sucks. Use NeoVim. No! No. I already used NeoVim, and I didn't like it. I used it for a few months, and I didn't like it. Look, can't you see how professional I am? Did you see that Vim motion? That was fantastic. I crushed that. I did not crush that, by the way. He did not crush that. He did not crush that. Okay. Oh, and this still looks good. Oh, yeah. So I think you might be right about blurring the pixels because this is a little more detail than I wanted. But also, it looks freaking good. I don't know. Maybe it's fine. I don't know why it's extending so far down. That feels a little bit off, but we'll keep it for now, and we'll do a little transform. We'll do a little skew. Do a little CSS skew. Skew back. Skew back. You know what I mean? I've done this before. transform skew. Skew is a tough one to use because you kind of want to skew it around an axis, and that's not how skew works. Like, all these skew examples are wrong. They're not what I want. I want it to skew... Oh my god, look at this. No thank you. They should have thought about the max width of the screen because... skew it. Skew it. Skew on both axes, yeah. So it's like, how do you... What I want to do is a 3D transform, actually. CSS, 3D, transform, rotate. This is actually how you do it. So you rotate 3D. You see how this is like doing a crazy transformation on that? You can rotate 3D around an axis to kind of push something back if you think about three-dimensional space. And again, with the math. I mean, I do appreciate math, but I also don't know what I'm looking at. So yeah, that's rotating around an x-axis, right? Like you have a panel and you're kind of rotating it around. I'm going to do the same thing, but on the y, and I'll take my transform origin and move it to the bottom. It's been years since I've done 3D transforms. I'm excited. I get to show off 3D transforms to y'all. Let's get it. Let's get it. And the glow, we're also not using Tailwind for this because this is too advanced for Tailwind. Well, okay, you could do this with Tailwind classes, but it would be a mess and a half. Yeah, that's exactly what I want. How did it know? Bottom. Is this working? Is this thing on? Oh, I think it skewed it the wrong way. I could be wrong, though. I think that worked. Let me test that by making it really big. Nope, it's not working at all. I'm just convincing myself that it worked. Okay, well. Dang it. I'm also going to add a z-index to this guy. Yeah, push it to the top. I also can't really tell what I'm doing. But eventually this will work. So it's the x-axis. I'm just going to delete that for now. And it's not rotating yet, but it will. Oh, I just realized the brightness hack is not actually going to work if the corner is black. We just got lucky with the whiteboard corner, making us think it looked good. Dang it. So yeah, Mr. Overlord of Tech, we might need to do a blur, a double blur, a blur sandwich. Might need a blur sandwich on that one. Or we'll just roll with it. You know, choose a first video that looks really good, and almost no one is going to click for the second video. As long as the one you chose looks really good, we're done. So let's just do that. Let's just do that. Okay, so we have it here. Is it actually... It is transforming in 3D space. Oh, but I don't think that's where the angle goes. One second. What does 3D do? So is it just zeros and ones to tell it which one to do, and then you rotate? How does this work? Is defined by an XYZ vector and then passed by the origin. Maybe we want to edit, maybe we want to go on the Z-axis? No, it's definitely the X. It's the X, it's the X-axis. 100%. Yep. And then we want to do, yeah, oh, I love that styling, by the way. Yeah, so I think, I know it's transform origin, bottom center. I know that that's what we want. But this is not rotating. Transform is not transforming. We have transform, rotate 3D. It's right there. We're rotating it by 30 degrees. It's defined. But nothing is working. The axis of rotation, which can be a positive or negative number. I don't really understand how that's working, actually. Like here, this makes perfect sense. This is exactly what I expected it to do. So let me actually just do exactly what it says and see if we get a result. We do get a result. Huh. Okay. So now if I choose to do it along the x-axis, okay, that does work. It just doesn't actually... Oh, I see. Oh, that's a little disappointing. it's not actually going to skew the image inward. Yeah, you're right. Perspective. I forgot about that. I forgot about transform perspective. You do need this. You're right. I just forgot about it. So you can say perspective. I don't freaking know. Whoa! That's crazy. So you could do perspective. Wow. Yeah, it's really weird. It's really freaking weird. But let's go ahead and add a perspective. Oh, wait. Where do you actually add it? Oh, okay. All right. Perspective of 20 pickles. That is not working. 100 pickles. It's not working. It has to go first? Oh. Well, thank you. I didn't know that. So that would actually set the perspective after rotating. Whoa! That's some hyperdrive. Okay, so 100 pickles is a lot of pickles. So let's do 10 oh my god. Okay, so you actually want something bigger, obviously. I knew that. Okay, so if we do that, you know, they always say you need a 10,000 foot view, right? You need a 10,000 foot view. Yeah. Okay, so I think 1,000 was fine. We just need an angle that's way less exaggerated. So if we do 10, that's pretty good. So let's make it like 6 or something. Yeah, there we go. There we go. And to be honest, I don't even want that much angle the more that I'm playing with this. I'm going to change it to 0 and I'm going to be done. I know that's about to happen. I know that's about to happen. We'll keep it at like 3 or 4 or something like that. Yeah, we'll keep it at 4. You could make the coolest animation with that. You can, and I've done it before. It's a lot of fun. There's not really a use case for perspective on this project, but if there was, we could nerd out real hard. Oh. Yeah. There we go. Okay. Yeah. So now it's a little bit perspective-y, and it's too far low, so we're going to push that right back up. I think we want to just remove this padding top. Or at least for now, I'm going to reduce it down to 0 in case we need it. Yeah, we actually do need it a little bit. Or do we? This might be fine. That might be fine. I don't know. Let's go back to this image. Yep. We'll grab that image. Oh no, you can't do that. I was really hopeful that I could do a hack just now. Unfortunately not. But let's see. Let's go back to this. Keeps getting bumped down. Yeah, that looks really nice. So it has some black bars, which I need to crop out, unfortunately. I don't really know why it has those black bars, to be honest with you. But yeah, if we look at it, it seems to crop it to a 4:3 or something like that. And then it asks you to go the rest of the way. So that's a little bit annoying. We're going to need to do like a... Oh, it's got some element styles on it. But that's just the browser doing that. Yeah, I guess we're going to need some cropping to make sure we don't have that problem. But this is looking good. In general, this is looking good. I'm really proud of this. Heck yeah. Thumbnails that are clickable and then enter a DV drive, then transform. Oh, don't tempt me. Don't tempt me. Don't make me do it. Oh, that's good. Oh, that's too good. That's too good. That's too good of an idea. Oh, no. So I want to start by just having the CD drive close and the image pops into view. But from there, we could also take the same thumbnail image, crop it to a circle, have the circle flatten, and then lay into it. We could do that. We could do that. That would be real interesting. That would be real interesting. That is so much effort for what's already a high effort project, but I like the way you think. That's a good idea. That is a good idea. We might do it. We might end up doing that. That's true. We might end up doing it. Random question, was the VS Code extension providing the unsaved in the bottom bar? That is... I'm actually not using it as much as I should. But it's something Pilcrow recommended on another change. It's literally called unsaved files. Because you might have noticed I don't have tabs. I disabled tabs in VS Code. Every file just takes up the screen. Because tab hygiene gives me so much stress. And I didn't realize how much stress it gave me until I removed the tab bar. I was like, oh my God, I can just fuzzy find things and not worry about my tabs. Thank you. It's just too much. I can't deal with it. The one problem, though, is when you make an edit to a file, like right now, edit, true, you can see up here, this is the unsaved file indicator. And it's sandwiched between all of these other charms. So I keep forgetting that I have unsaved files. When you had tabs, the dot was right next to the file name, and I could always see it, and I always remembered to save. Just by moving that dot over here, between these icons, for no reason, I can't remember to save anymore, and it sucks. So, having this unsaved files bar tells you, oh, you have unsaved files, and I can go find them. If you go to the file tree, you also see unsaved files is over here on a list. So if you need to jump to those explicitly, you can do that, or maybe you can do it here. I'm actually a little bit curious. What happens when I click on this? It doesn't work because this extension is really shoddily made, I'll be honest. It has typos in the docs. I think it has typos in one of the hover hints. It's not the best, but if you look up unsaved files, it works well enough. I think you can also see, yeah, look at this, Raval in Finder instead of reveal in Finder. There's a typo in the extension. So good. So good. We love community extensions. We love them. It might just jump to your only saved file. Oh, you might be right. You might be right. Okay, also, I want to increase the blur. I want to enhance. Because I just want the blur to be wider than it currently is. So let's play with this more. Yes. More. Yes. That is blurred. That is blurred. That looks good. That looks really good. And just a little bit curious, what does it look when you sandwich it? Oh, okay. So we do have a little bit of wonkiness on mobile, but that makes sense. I think we can use... It does have a harpoon extension if you are a Primogen person. I don't use it personally, but it does seem cool. Yeah, this looks really good. So the one thing that I want to try, just to see as a sanity check, does the transform add anything? Because we added a 3D transform. Oh man, I accidentally focused my Figma. Dangerous. But yeah, we added some 3D perspective. Dang it, Vim Motions. Ah. Dang it, Vim Motions. What do we have, 40 pixels? No, we actually had 50. Yeah, but I'm curious, does this do anything? Okay, yeah, it does add something. Because you can see it's a little bit off. And now when you add this, it's just a little bit in. Okay, so it took us a while to learn about 3D transforms, but hey, it did give us something good. This looks great. This looks awesome. It took us like an hour, or okay, it took us 2 hours to get here. That's a little awkward, but hey, you know, it's about the, what they say, it's not about the destination, about the journey. We had a good journey on this stream. I think we did. I'm really thinking I'm going to go eat lunch, though. And after that, I'm going to kick some ass, write some code, tweet a video maybe, and that's my holiday. I have off work, so it's nice. Oh, I can also delete that. I can jump to the top, delete that unused import. Very nice. That's it. You know, this is our little TV screen. Now we need to animate the CD drive and other stuff, and it'll look good. So what else did we add to this? I think we had some... This is all we did? It feels like we've done so much. I mean, we just committed some code, so whatever. But yeah. Feet, Ben, corner glue. I mean, we tried so many different solutions and we just scrapped them. So, hey, this is good. This is a good look. I like it a lot. And, oh yeah, also some flicker. I wonder if we can just do that in 2 seconds here. I know I said I was going to go, but let me just see what I can do. Dang it, VimMotions. Yeah, and we're gonna call this pulses. Actually, isn't there just a tailwind class to do this? I know there is. Which one is the corner filter? Yeah. We're gonna do transition pulse. Dang it. Pulse. Animate pulse. Too easy. Too easy. Come on. Come on. That looks great. Okay, so it is hard-coded to be 2 seconds, though. So I do want to tweak this a little bit, but that's pretty... Oh, it's only doing opacity. I thought it was transforming as well. Yeah, we could just tweak that, but... What do we think about that? That is really nice. I'm just going to leave it. I'm just going to leave it. We can tweak it, but I'm just going to leave it. We love Tailwind sometimes. How about that? Okay, and if you want the source code for this lovely, lovely website, you can go over to BeOhmsDev. Easy to remember. It's twice the dev for the price of one. And it's the Astro V4 branch, so, you know, check it out. And I think that's my stream. We had a good time. We learned a lot of things. I'm going to raid someone. But thank you for joining me on this morning over here. Looks like a lot of streamers stopped, but Tej is still going. I can't believe it's... Oh, yeah, Tej is doing PHP in Laravel right now. I'm going to join him next month, so get ready. I'm going to do some Laravel content as soon as I've wrapped up my Astro projects. As soon as I've wrapped those up, which will take, 1 to 2 years. As it is. Is he Tej Dev or Tej... He's Tej Duv. All right, a raid has been created. I'm live most mornings. This is morning Eastern time, but around this time, I'm live on Thursdays. I'm also live on Mondays sometimes. If you ever want to know when I'm live, go to wtw.dev/chat. I'm going to make an effort to ping you over there. You also drop a follow to get it. I came from that stream. No! I've been streaming for a few hours, man. I'm sorry. I'm not going to keep streaming for you, but it's good to see you. I'm going to upload the VOD. There weren't any hiccups, so it'll be on YouTube within an hour or so. So back I go. Yes, exactly. But I got a VOD. I have a YouTube channel right here. Everyone should go check this one out. B. Holmes VODs. That's where we upload all of our videos. But we built a really cool... I'll just show it to you. We built a really cool little pulse animation for our Mac. Look at this. Look at that. The corner glow based on the video contents. Come on. Come on. We're going to build this. It's going to be real sick. It's going to be real sick. Post a Discord link? Yeah, it's wtw.dev/chat. That is the Discord link. You can check it out. But yeah, look at this. It's just, it's fantastic.